Hello and welcome to another episode of Eternal Reaches, the Garblag Games Mongoose Traveller 2nd Edition role-playing show. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Eternal Reaches. We're back again. This week, unfortunately, Ben can't be with us as he has the lurgy. And has kindly decided not to share it with all of us, which is good. He should be back next time, however. Anyway, we shall get going with this episode of Eternal Reaches. I'm Pete the referee.
I'm Sam and I'm playing Wizard.
I'm Alan, I'm playing Stalwart Husk.
I'm Roger, I'm playing Commander Magnus Alexanderson.
I'm Simon and I'm playing Brandon Parsons.
I'm Shan, I'm playing Jackson.
Cool. Okay, so last time on the Eternal Reaches, the crew of the Aurora bravely head out towards the asteroid, which had fired some superluminal missiles at Lab Ship Bohr and the Radial, which was the Bryce Corp trader vessel. You also knew that a lot of Bryce Corp employees were working on board the lab ship. And you headed out towards the asteroid, thinking that you would maybe try and help the people on the lab ship on the way, as it would take you 3 days to get there, and the Radial would be busy doing other things. The Arrowhead would be busy doing other things. So you made your way out there, and as you approached, a small Reclamation unit came out of the asteroid and told you all to stay where you were. There was a bit of deceleration. Adam, I'll remember that next time. And you guys stopped short of the lab ship in time for it to latch on with kind of 6 large appendages and start to maneuver it towards the asteroid. As it did that, a shuttle left the lab ship. There were some strange power fluctuations around the shuttle as it left. And you guys rescued this shuttle and found one Martin Littlestone on board, who was an executive of Bryce Corp, who the crew of the lab ship had bravely elected to leave the ship alone on the shuttle with all of their money to be rescued. You guys figured out that he was duplicitous, and he in fact tried to get Ben Azar, to steal all your data on the asteroid, give it to him, and then turn off the security cameras while he did a runner. Azar was wise enough to go to Commander Magnus Alexanderson, war hero, and provide this invaluable information. So you double-crossed him and emptied his bank account, basically. And then I think someone stuffed him in a low berth. So yeah, he's in there there's now a nice rack of all these people that you've captured: the injured woman, the Fodlani,
the mercenaries,
the scientist, and Martin Littlestone. Yeah. Were there any others? I don't think so. Were there?
No.
How many low berths have we got?
Some. It's like 20 of them.
Oh, I've got tons of them.
You've got plenty. You've got a few.
It's more like 8.
It's like 8 or 10.
Yeah, it's 8 or 10. So it's, you're sort of 50% capacity. I'm sure you can fit a few more people in there.
I want to share.
You manoeuvred your way inside the asteroid, and there you saw that there were other Reclamation or other style units that were all about the size of your ship. In this large sort of oval-shaped aperture with docking ledges, down the side of it, which were big enough for 2 of your ships to sort of land on comfortably with space. And they started to re-knit the ship back together with nano-technology, which everyone was kind of standing agape at out the window. You went across in the shuttle, rescued the crew, the spokesman of which, Fumihiko, informed you that Martin Littlestone had basically hacked all their accounts and done a runner after the Bryce Corp members.
40 grand or something.
Yeah. The Bryce Corp crew had been in a secret meeting on board the ship, which was the part of the ship that had been destroyed. So you have 10 lab ship scientists on board, not in low berths, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
You're not that cheap. You're trying to save on food and power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Sorry, they've got 40 grand to pay their way.
And we've got three other guys, three other scientists.
they're helping you fix the TV.
Yeah.
They help Jackson fix the TV.
Yeah.
And
It's
Derek.
done, wasn't it?
And Derek, which we should now
Derek.
promote to expert on attack.
Who is now your gunner.
Yeah.
And he's a theoretical physicist.
Yeah.
But that's his primary thing. He's into computer games and he likes swiveling on the chair in the gunner pod.
Because I think you would.
Yeah, why not? And you guys went into the control center, which turned out to be a communication control center for the asteroid. And there you managed to ping Mel Dak Tar over here,
Not deliberately. But
2 parsecs away, which is about 6 to 8 light years, and get a response within 20 seconds, which was astounding. You haven't figured out, no one's figured out faster than light communications, travel, anything like that, apart from the jump drive, which is the fixed time period of 1 week to however far you go, which is kind of the weird outcome of that method of travel. But anything else hasn't been really figured out. Communication, definitely not. The best thing that you've got is the X-boats and courier ships that fly out. They take a week to get there, and then they download all the information that they've taken from the last star system, so it doesn't take 4 years to get there via.
we did when we came here.
You did indeed. You had all the mail with you. So that's the system that is used for communication. So if someone had fast and light communication, that would be a distinct advantage over their enemies. I'll just point
Or
out
their friends, or
their
anything
friends,
else.
or anyone, yeah. So you had investigated a bit, seen that some systems on Mel Dak Tar, or the Stellar Artisan as it was being referred to, which is the old name for it, were firing up, including internal security systems. Not that you can do anything about it, because it's a week away for you guys. So it would take you a week to jump there. But you can jump there, because you've got to jump too. So you also realised that it had communications logs for further afield around the subsector.
The ones with R.
Some of
Not all of them.
Some of them. So Osmangor Dirac and Malnen Dirac up there.
The Diracs.
The Diracs. Which are sort of 4 parsecs away. And the session finished with you detecting a Princeton. Mel Dak Tar informing you that a Princeton signal had been detected.
Mm-hmm.
The Princetons were the enemy of the Union, and it's the war between them that destroyed everything and basically left all the remnant behind that people are desperately trying to find and dig up from places such as this. So we rejoin the crew of the Aurora as the ship is sitting on the docking ledge inside the asteroid, and you are inside the control room. Who was in the control room? It was you two and Magnus. Okay. So Glisser, Stalwart and Magnus, you're in the control room. You are getting some minor telemetry from Mel Dak Tar, and this strange danger signal has come up.
We turned it off because it said the main generator's
Yes.
unstable.
Yeah, so
We
it
managed
became...
to find some sort of bulkhead to close between us and the main
Yes.
generator, because
Yep.
there's a
Yeah, we actually
tiny
shut
bit
the
worried it was
generators
going to
down.
explode.
didn't we?
Yeah.
And in the intervening sort of hour or so, you've managed to jury rig a power unit into the room.
Just as a console,
So,
nothing else.
We don't need you to roll for that. You've managed to power up this console and have a look at what was there before. So you've kind of isolated it from the main power system, because I believe Brandon had set up a power unit,
I had.
and then Jackson had checked it out and seen that it would have blown everything up. Yeah. Yeah, Shan wasn't here last time, but his character was. Okay, cool. So, some of the systems are starting up, things are powering up, and you can see these telemetry coming from Mel Dak Tar. You could also see that an additional metallic and graviton signal has appeared in the Kusk system near the location where you guys jumped in previously, about 5 or 6 days ago now.
Yeah.
So you can see that there's another ship that's arrived in the Kusk systems.
I presume that other ship is a more suitable mass signature for, say, our sort of size vessels and things like that.
Yes.
It's not Mel Dak Tar size.
No, nothing like that. That would have screamed alarm bells, probably.
Yeah.
So the jumping input, would that be probably coming from the same place then? If you
No,
jump
similar
in-
distance, sorry,
Oh.
from the planet, not
Location.
the same location. It looks like it has come in from a more from this side.
Yeah.
So almost like it's coming in from the high mountain direction.
Rice Corp powerful.
House,
Can we tell
where
what kind
Grice
of
Corp
ship it is?
are quite powerful.
Can we tell what kind of ship it is?
At the moment, there's just like a
At the moment, it's just a thing.
Okay, does it give us a mass or anything?
it's similar to yours,
Similar to us. It's small
Okay,
cargo.
but considering the scales that this system probably looks at,
Exactly, but this system kind of has the space station in its medium to large category, so I don't. Yeah.
It might be.
It's small.
It might be worth us recording the visual information we had of the lab ship being attacked by the asteroid, and then when they get close enough, playing it, saying, look, you might want to not get too close.
We'll have to the communication guys with all the
Because
cameras.
you had to set the system back on the planet to
Default.
auto friend.
Yeah, we have.
So any ship
But
coming in,
perhaps we
You
can
never know.
suggest that actually, look, these two ships getting close. We've managed to. Get
so you want to
close.
try and communicate with the ship that's arrived in the system.
I'll wait till he gets back. Roger that. I've
Okay.
got plenty of other cool stuff to do.
Okay.
But no, we have the recordings of that because I have all the
Yeah,
things,
I just
so-
think it's worth being ready if they basically decide they're going to try and get really close, which will take them a few days.
Yeah.
To get close.
Well, either way,
I might well have blown us all up in a few days by accident.
You probably
I
could have
wouldn't-
done.
I wouldn't over worry.
I assume we wouldn't get any more on our ship sensors.
not really from where you are.
No.
No. This asteroid's probably got the best sensors.
It's got the quickest, but then hard to read because
You don't know what's going
understand
on.
the language.
Yeah, and at the moment it's quite far away. So even these sensors, it's kind of rudimentary information.
Are we void exposed in here? I can't remember.
Not inside the chamber.
Has it got atmosphere or
But we
Yes.
agree.
the we can breathe?
There is a slight strange smell to the air, but you don't know.
We'll add that to the list of things to worry about. It's-
Were we planning on sending the 10 scientists on their pinnace back to the? I'm assuming we're happy that it's their pinnace.
Yeah, the ship is theirs.
It's part of the bore, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it does belong to them.
Well, yeah.
Are any of the scientists, do any of them work with atmospherics?
They have experience, yeah.
Could they tell us what analyse the air? It could be interesting to identify what's there.
Sure. One of the scientists checks out, because you've got an open comm signal now,
Yeah.
because you're in a dangerous environment. It seems fairly standard. There's a few sort of trace heavy things in there, a bit of methane, nothing crazy, nothing that will kill you.
What was the story with the squidgy body?
We left them down on the planet because we thought
Yeah.
it might be a biohazard.
So someone with biohazard
No,
tanks is going to come.
They were,
Alright.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were instructed to leave them behind.
Because we don't- So we don't know anything.
They were
else.
literally full of nope.
We left them behind. There was a bunch of
Nope.
scientists there. They might find something out, but they probably wouldn't tell us.
No, so we don't know who they were or.
Well, I'm pretty certain they're borax, aren't they? Who were the dominant species of the Union, as far as I know. But
Other than that,
not very much else. No.
I would like to talk to Fumahiko.
Yep.
To find out whether or not he wants us to see if we can stabilize the lab ship as it is, so that they can go back to the lab ship with more supplies, or whether he wants to
When
get
you
in
go
the
to
finish
talk to him,
and-
are you calming him or are you going to go and see
No, I'm
him?
going to see him.
Okay.
'cause-
So him and his scientist friends are gathering all their equipment, and they see you coming, and they're like, "We need to check this place out. Okay, we want to look around. This is absolutely fantastic. Do you understand the things the breakthroughs we can make?"
Okay.
He's like, and they're running around behind him with all their kit, picking up. They came on the shuttle with all their stuff. They're starting to gather it together and sort of figure out what they want to do. Can we plug into the ship's sensors? We'd love to get some of the readings on here. This is amazing.
I'll check with the captain, but I don't see why not.
Oh, we're part of the career team, so
That's fine.
it's all under NDA or whatever secrecy thing. I'm not going to share it.
Well,
out.
if we put supplies on the small ship, then you can just live out of that. I see. While you're
And we can go back and fix the lab ship up, get it prepped, get it stable.
Well, I will go up and have a look to see how structurally sound it is.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure.
And just have a check because, well, that's kind of ship stuff. That's what we do.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll get ready. Yeah.
I shall message you to suggest, do we want to let them have our 2.5 million credit little whatever it's called, ET whatever.
TV.
Oh, God.
What, they drive it out the hangar bay and just sort of park up. This is cool.
That's a lot of credit.
That's a lot of credit.
If they want to buy it off us for $2.5
They're part of our thing. It's just that if we
No. They work for the government. We are.
they do, but if we thought that actually it was worth them using it, we could basically go to the government and say, this is a major investigation.
If any of
They're
them are
going into an
authorised to do it.
asteroid.
You don't know
in
yet.
space,
You'd have
blah,
to
blah,
see if they're cleared to do that kind
Yeah,
of.
you need a procurement code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We
Raise the
wouldn't need
PO and I'll do anything. Until then,
I know.
And so I was thinking of going up onto the lab ship and trying to get myself some drones.
The lab ship is still suspended by one thing. Because I think put lab ship down gently is one of the
But,
things I'm looking at.
as I'm a mechanic, not an engineer.
Still got enough power.
I need an engineer.
I hope put down gently is something.
I know we turned everything off.
We did turn everything off, but
the reclamation unit was still holding on to the lab ship.
and it's still kind of
Yeah, but if
I'm
it has a
hoping-
claw, it's probably like just locked in.
Yeah.
It's out of power.
But was the other one
Oh,
ran out of power or whatever?
No. There were two of them. One had run out of nanites to repair the ship, so it proceeded. And the other one was still just holding it.
So as far as we know, that one's still powered.
So it's still its own
Right.
power. I just need to send it simple that says, please put down gently, basically, is my current plan at the moment. Because
Well, no, we'll just
You find a series of commands around docking, placement, and reclamation unit recharge.
yeah, it's just because these things still have an awful lot of power to them. They're hundreds of thousands of years old. They're probably a bit squiffy. I don't want it to let you just go and crush the lab ship randomly because someone sent a wrong routine somewhere.
Reclamation
So I think-
unit recharge, you say?
Yeah, so I think put down and go back to your docking station might be a good plan. Yes.
Ideally, if you could park it next to our ship, that would really make it easiest to.
Oh, that's a good point. I could try
Yes.
that. Let me have a look.
Is this purely for repairs, or can it do things like upgrade?
I don't know, but again, I'm only pressing those buttons when it's not going to crush an entire ship.
There are loads of commands and buttons on there. You're just not sure what some of them mean.
Can we wait until I've actually got up there and stolen some
If
drones?
anyone tells me you're on your way to steal drones, yes.
Yeah,
No,
You're on
no,
you can say that over the open com. So
no, you still
We're going up to the lab. We're going up to the lab ship to check it out and to see if it's still viable.
If you're happy walking on it, given what it's being held by, then you knock yourself out. That's absolutely fine by me.
Okay, I've not knocked myself out too often, but if it happens,
you sure?
yeah, honestly,
It's Brandon Parsons.
Whereas I am. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But just if it makes any weird noises or anything, just let us know sooner rather than later, okay?
Do any of the scientists have like mobile power supplies?
They do. Small ones. It can power up like a couple of consoles or something for maybe a couple of hours.
Is this
Not
from,
like
like, the
a
commander,
replace a
yeah.
building power plant.
Is this like the command room?
So I think this is the command room for
This is the central communication.
we're in the comms room.
Yeah, this is almost like air traffic control for you, the docking
Okay.
central.
The whole
So
docking
if we
area.
could perhaps start learning how to redirect communication, we might be able to do that from here.
You can try and do all sorts of things from here. That's mostly what I wanted to say, Captain. Where are we on our... How are things working on the priority list? I could try and make this do all sorts of things.
All right,
What do we
priority.
want to do first? I think...
Superhuman myself.
To any ship in the system, a hail comes through, sort of about 5 minutes after the ship's arrived in the system. This is the Rockmaster hailing all ships in system. We have a subsidized Bryce Corp subcontractor arrangement to proceed with asteroid inspection and mining. We are on our way to the asteroid belt to begin our survey.
Fire the missiles! Okay.
No! Mostly because
Yeah.
the power plant may explode. Can I suggest that that's priority one? I try and work out what on earth that reactor
Hail them and
is.
tell them it's
how
dangerous and not
it
to
is.
operate.
Well, no, they're going to take several days to get here.
Yeah, we should hail them and tell them not to.
You think it should take them a few days?
I think we should hail them and tell them not to come. It's dangerous. Because the last thing we want is Bryce Corp here, given what they've been
Let
doing.
them burn fuel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, can I borrow Derek if I'm going to start bringing up stuff on the power plant?
Sure, all the scientists should be there.
Yeah, but anyone that's got any thoughts.
They're all clamouring at the airlock.
Okay.
They're like, can we go inside the big shiny
All I
thing,
think you need
please?
to do is ask them how they will help you.
I will give
If I
every
could have
single,
some science.
every single scientist, I will give them a small card.
Thank
I'm
you.
surprised you're not baking cookies at this
So
point.
that I inform them that,
Weird.
that they are now part of our security grid and that I will have their location at all times.
Excellent. That's very wise in this kind of situation. They all kind of pop them in their pockets that have got all the pens in.
If I could have some scientists, that's marvellous. That makes all this much
All the
sense.
scientists are at your disposal as far as I'm concerned. Can you-
Yay! There's a cheer from the airlock.
if any of them know how to turn on that defense system, that could come in handy.
Right.
The asteroid defense system.
Yeah.
You haven't seen controls for that here
It's not here.
so far.
So-
But there's like, you're in a big room full of control things, so there might
Yeah,
be...
but one of them
the,
might be like a map of some kind.
There is.
Oh, you can see that. There's like a map of the system. You can see it thrusting towards it.
of the base, not the system.
Oh, yes. Okay.
There is another ship in this system which is currently doing the rescue.
The Arrowhead.
Arrowhead. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the Korea defense ship, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
The defence rescue in the radio.
so yes, perhaps we just contact the
Oh, I don't
Arrowhead.
know, we could look.
Perhaps
You can look.
we
It's
contact
secured the area.
Arrowhead
It's prepared the radio.
and tell them that that the Martin
Biddleston.
from Bryce Corp basically was going to blow up the lab ship.
No, he's going to
Sounds
blow
like
us
politics.
up.
Well, yeah. Either way, you can always bend it a little bit, can't you?
Sounds like
And,
politics. I've lost interest.
Make a computer's roll.
And get them to
That's
communicate.
assuming
So
that-
are you on the shuttle going to the lab ship while you're talking
You'll
to
get a direct
the
call
two of
from me
you?
going,
Okay.
that's if he
That's
survived
unless
the
they don't
explosion on the
Yeah,
ship.
Okay. Well, I'm
Wait,
just
so
saying,
the ship, the radio?
if you get the Arrowhead,
No,
communicate with
the lab ship is
and say that
the one near you.
say the area
The other one
really
is out
and
back
they
at the
must
space
stop with
station.
with the Arrowhead, or they must go.
So
I thought the Arrowhead
station.
was going
It's a good
towards...
call.
Yeah.
No, it went towards another ship that was
If we
damaged.
basically say,
It's
look,
onto the radio.
currently,
This place is dangerous, tell them not to operate.
and then suggest that they go towards the Arrowhead.
Towards the station. Okay, that's a good plan.
You can hear in the background while he's talking to you that the shuttle is docked with the lab ship. You guys have approached that ship, and if you remember, there's kind of a semicircular bit left of the
all
big
that's left-
wheel.
All that's left is the bomb.
But it had started to build the kind of superstructure sort of back up. And in the middle, there's a strut where the shuttle docks onto in the middle. So you guys lock into there, and some low-level power kind of runs through the systems. You can see that the ship is functioning. It seems to be that there's life support as the systems hook up to the shuttle. So it says it's okay for you to leave the shuttle.
Is it running off the shuttle?
No.
No. So it's running off its own power supply.
There seems to be something generating power on board the lab ship.
It did have power, but just a bit.
It was a bit skew. It was going up and down and all over the place, but now it seems to be stable.
So grab the angle going into it.
Yeah. Maybe we should go and check the power supply and check the systems first.
While you're docked in there, right in front of you is this Union Reclamation unit. This thing which seems like there are no seams around where the arms come out. It's almost as if it has some strange smooth surface on the interior. On the back of it, it does look like there are joints and things. So it's almost like there's some kind of strange coating on the interior. And the gravimetric forces that are holding you in place are sort of radiating from this surface.
Yeah.
So you're kind of standing, and the arms have come round to the outside and like gently locked onto the lab ship in 6 places.
So we'll get the, also, before we leave the shop, we'll get all the sensors onto the gravimetric.
Sure. Shuttle sensors aren't great, but you start to record stuff. If someone wants to make a sensor roll, who's good at sensors?
Where's the
It's computer stuff.
It's under electronics.
Yeah, that's you.
So,
Well, the
Electronic
the lamp
sensors.
sensors are still running.
Because
Yeah.
there's still what's
We
locked
don't.
them in, hasn't he?
Yeah, everything's running, but just in case he rolls a double 6.
Oh,
He's pretty good. Well, 9 base.
I've got 2 in electronics, but
And what's your internet?
that is A.
So that's plus 1.
One.
Yeah, so 3 on top of that, so 12. So that's a good roll. So you actually bring the confinement beam down on the sensor so it's more focused on the area. So you bring in your lateral sensors rather than a broad spectrum. Okay, so you set that running.
Yeah. We're going to go,
Grab some tools.
Okay.
Grab some tools.
So you guys are going to go out into the lab ship and have a look around and try and find some drones.
We're going to go find some drones.
Okay.
Whilst checking the place out.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So you'll do that for sort of like half an hour. I'll tell you about half an hour. Okay, cool. Right. So you guys are in the communication center.
Mhm.
You can see that the ship on the kind of hologram of the solar system, so the Kusk system, is thrusting in, and there's a vector line that's been drawn out, curving around the gravity well, the planet towards the asteroid belt and towards roughly your location. It seems like they've got a fair. It's kind of a whack of the asteroid belt, but it's definitely pointing in your direction.
Okay, I'm going to con the arrowhead.
From where? From your ship, or
Can I
from the
try-
communication center that you're in?
Can the communication center link me to it?
If you've got the frequency, I can.
I will hand over like the command frequency or whatever it is.
Okay. Cool.
Whatever I was rolling computers for was a 15.
Okay, right. You find the external and internal defense system override.
Be really unfortunate if a superluminal missile hit that price core.
The readout on it, if you're reading it correctly, there are 4 missiles left in the weapons pod of the asteroid.
I'll take
Internal defense mechanism.
Wouldn't fit them in.
That seems to be depleted.
That's dead. So,
it.
do I think when it was working at full capacity, this thing could manufacture those missiles itself? When it was actually, when all this
As
was
you're
running
starting to look at the layout, you're bringing up a layout of the asteroid, and you can see that the housing for those missiles is very near something that seems to be called nano-micro something forge. You're not sure.
All right. Well,
Ooh.
forge. The Union used forge to mean, well, as you know from Mel Dak Tar, anything they were producing anything from. They didn't really say factory. They said forge. So it probably produces those missiles itself when it's powered.
Awesome.
It's not powered at the minute for obvious reasons because they're fairly certain reacting medical and critical. There are, however, 4 still in the pod. I don't know whether the depleted power would affect their launch or not.
You think you can't open the bay door?
Yeah,
or the
I
missile
suspect at the
pod,
moment
though.
I can't even open the door, let alone
Okay,
get them
that's
going.
fine. What about communications?
You think? Oh, now you've kind of got slightly distracted, but you can.
Oh yeah, that was back here. That was yeah.
Yeah.
All of it was over there.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
You throw the communication controls to the hologram, and you point and touch the arrowhead in the hologram, and a little reticle goes from nowhere down and around it. And
That's our lord.
Do you get
no,
5, 4?
no, it's red.
The doors don't open.
The reticle's red, and a little red trace is going around the outside of it.
Red is good with union. Remember, red is good. Unlike you monkeys in your red green eyes, but it's red. It's
Okay.
red is good.
Is it
Union
on?
liked red.
It says attempting.
It's attempting. The things managed to communicate with our sensors on our ship, the dark ones on our ship.
Yep.
Suggests it's not incompatible technology.
It sort of opens a line.
This is Commander Magnus Alexanderson. Can you read me?
Warrior.
Commander of the Arrowhead.
Possibly.
Did we know the captain of the Arrowhead's name?
No.
No. Okay. This is Commander Magnus Alexanderson. Can you read me? I'm after Captain Nellock.
Okay.
What were you saying, Steve?
You might have to wait 5 minutes.
Oh, we're transmitting from the station.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
but
are.
But the teleporter might be able to override different ship systems from here, because I suspect the freezing power is higher. If they can interface with them.
So you're being helped by the
That's true.
asteroid.
It occurs to you that you should maybe tell them a timestamp when you send the message.
They'll probably guess when they
They could
respond,
probably, yeah.
and they go, 5 minutes is up. We
Hello.
need to wait another 5, and they suddenly get a response.
Yep.
Would you want to see if you could?
No, it wouldn't be possible for me because I can't read the language.
You know what? I'm wondering maybe I need to write a translation program. That's what I need to write.
That is what you need to write. But you need like 4,000 more phrases and methods of
Can I
syntax and all
hand
kinds of stuff.
you my computer with I've got a very high tech level translation program. You can start doing it as you go.
I've got quite a high because I've got linguistics software, so I don't know whether that's better or worse. But
You could put
Use the two together.
I
Yeah.
can put more in.
You could put the linguistic software on the high level translator
I'm trying to remember.
and
what
basically do it
my
as you
computer
go.
is.
And you could put together the things that you have already figured out so far.
Basically, once you figure one out, you can then go, aha, and then put it straight into the program.
and I'm just
As long as it's not used in some other context, or there's a similar word
I
or
can
phrase.
read it because I've seen a lot of it, but it's tricky. I really need to tell it what our language is because it'd probably be better at it than me. But never mind, that's a thought for not today.
Never come across a functional union translator.
No, I don't.
Seen many attempts.
I was going to say Mel Dak Tar even was tried.
This is the arrowhead. We've secured the area. The radial is pacified, and the crew are secured. We are aware that the Rockmaster is headed in your direction. Please advise. I'm picking up something strange about your communication signal. Is everything okay?
I am communicating from the base. Please tell the Bryce Court vessel to cease its approach. Warn them that this zone is dangerous and that these missiles may strike it if they approach.
Okay. Cool. You send that message off.
You declare war.
Well, no, because to be fair, they might. I don't know.
They might go off.
Yeah.
Turn the power back on.
Yeah,
Fire the missiles! Turn it off.
Or they might literally just go off. I don't know. Maybe with the
Also,
door shut.
actually, interestingly, can you see where the missiles are based? And can you? Will
You
it
can
give
see where it is on
Oh,
the
yeah,
in
I
the
can bring this up on
Okay.
the thing. And you've
That's
got,
really good. Can you?
the
Does it have-
hologram zooms in on the asteroid, and it fills now the space around you, and you can see that the interior. There's very little in terms of actually usable for people to move around. It's not really a facility for people to live on. It is a rebuilding, automated mining, reclamation, defense pod,
Can you?
basically.
Can you ask it the dimension of the room we're in its units?
It couldn't hurt, could it? And then we can measure.
Yeah.
That sounds a good start. We'll do
Yeah.
that. Oh, the distance between it and Kusk as well.
Yeah, basically we're trying to calculate their unit of measurements.
Yeah,
and they
that
say
sounds
this.
good. That's very useful.
Yep. Cool.
Also, the other thing I feel I should mention, it probably won't become relevant imminently, but I feel it's worth mentioning. You remember it said that thing, Princeton signal detected, and I made it sound like a frog just stepped.
Yes.
Our best theory as to what happened to the Union is it went to war with a group called the Princeton, and we believe the war to have been one of mutual annihilation. However, nano-technology and potentially biological weapons were heavily implicated in the exploding and dying and mutual destruction. This facility has nanite facilities. It did say there's a Princeton signal. It's possible we've got old automated systems that still think they're at war with each other, potentially with astonishingly dangerous weapons.
The Princeton signal was on Mel Dak Tar.
I know, it's which is not here, but it's still nearer than I would ideally like to be than anything that pings Princeton signature. So I think maybe, we should just bear in mind when we're moving around the place that this is a nanite generation facility, and they did.
You said this was quite early, didn't you?
I think it's early. I think it's before the war had got really nasty, because when the war got really bad, they were struggling to produce things like this. But it's just worth mentioning that it is technology that annihilated 2 species.
We should.
4 species.
4.
We should.
Only 4.
There were the other 2 as well.
Well,
Yeah.
we should proceed
We're a long
with.
way from there.
I'm not saying we shouldn't proceed with caution.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
You definitely should.
Just to provide some context
Because,
to things like
the-
nanite generation.
Those bodies filled with goo are probably a result of that kind of weapon.
Well, they could be, or they could be the result of 100,000 years inside of back suits. So.
Pretty sure you wouldn't gooify.
I wish it was never in my strong, but I'll take a word on it.
I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure you don't turn to goo.
Oh, what was interesting was the entirely empty domes. They simply had something in them that wasn't, I don't know, a wooden hut.
That was taken away, yeah. And in fact, what the whole structure was doing on us. And
It did
why
look
it was
as if they had-
abandoned prior to the war being lost.
It did look as if they'd fled the vehicle. They'd driven it to the edge of the dome and then fled to the middle.
Unless it was abandoned.
That's the impression I got.
Presence of biological weapons. Either way, it's just.
It could have the biological weapon could have killed everything organic on that.
I'm glad they leave
They could have got organic in the system. That could be why.
That's true, it could be wise.
You guys can hear this on the open
Maybe I know
comms.
what I'm
Yeah, this is all like going on.
Because they come back for their own technical.
Yeah, there's a shopping trip. Yeah.
But yeah, just a word of caution if we see anything marked nanite or nano or nano generation.
Not on the lab ship. We're not planning on going on the other thing.
Well, I can't read anything, so I'm not doing anything without someone telling me it's safe.
Marvellous. Excellent plan. That sounds brilliant. Let's do that.
You guys all pick up that one of the other reclamation units has moved about 50 meters out from where it was, just in a sort of sudden movement towards the lab ship, but then stopped.
Oh, that moved. Yeah. Can I find a thing?
Like,
Yeah, you guys are in a room with some drones.
Yeah.
You've kind of gone through, looking at lockers, you found a load of stuff. I think most of it's probably personal belongings of the 10 guys who got back on the ship, or the ones, Bryce Corp people who died. You find a load of Bryce Corp uniforms and things in some of the lockers.
Where do we want you infiltrate?
Disguises.
They've got a nice shade of turquoise going on as part of their uniform.
Can I go through the databases?
They've pulled all the hard drives and brought them with them. So apart from the life support system and the sensors, that was just running.
Obvious reasons.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. But they pulled all their data because they were saving it.
If there's any, what are they called? Like not back suits, but like the bubbles.
Oh, the emergency bubble
Emergency
box. Yeah,
kits.
you find a couple of those.
Yeah.
You find some emergency medical kits. You find some of those kind of, hey, I've got a big tube of squirty stuff that fills a hole, emergency patching type thing. Yeah, like a big,
Expanding.
And we found drones.
And you found 4 drones.
4 drones.
4 drones.
And these are quite large, aren't they? I mean, they are.
Yeah, there's like a big pod thing.
Yeah.
That fills up, quite a bit of space.
Yeah.
And it can thrust on its own and maneuver and stuff at like 1G. It's not super fast.
Now, I'm assuming there's consoles, or there's some kind of consoles
on the exterior of them.
Yeah.
Yes, there are, but they're generally remotely operated.
Yeah.
So you hook them up to your ship system.
Yeah.
And then.
So I'm assuming is there any?
There's a packet on the side which has got all the frequencies and data links that you need to use to access them.
And these are sensor drones.
Yes.
Okay. So are there spare sensor stuff for repairing?
Spare sensor stuff.
Well, if you're going to repair them, you would need to have.
No, they're adjacent to a section of the ship that was previously destroyed.
Okay. All sensor drones and Google stuff.
Oh, the glue gun.
Bulkhead patches.
Yeah.
It's like expanding
I was going to say, we probably have
ships,
stuff like that already.
Yeah, you do.
But now we've got more.
But it's always handy.
Keep it around the ship.
Someone's
a super grenade launcher with live ammunition.
So yeah, we do need to check the power supply is stable.
It's weak but stable.
Okay. So we just check.
Is there anything else that we might find useful?
One of the airlocks and its systems has been repaired from the outside.
Has been.
Yeah.
Or is being.
Has been. There's no current activity going on.
Although we probably would communicate with you. It looks like one of the reclamation devices moved towards you and then stopped.
Yeah, we're not working.
Have a closer inspection on the repair.
It seems like it's growing.
This is like it's a metal.
Is it growing or has it grown?
It has grown.
It has grown.
Yeah. Yes.
So excited.
Frozen in a growing state.
Yeah.
So those drones, are they automated once you create?
They're remotely controlled.
Okay, so they're not automation.
So you can set them on a course, and say burn this long, flip round, decelerate, whatever. But to use them properly, you need to remotely control them.
There is software that can like his agent type thing.
Yeah. That you
need the
can
right
load
program.
in.
Stuff.
Cool. Yeah. Or I can rip the insides out and make some cool things.
Sure.
Artwork?
Yeah, maybe.
I think he watched The Explorers the other day or something.
I was more thinking could be used to explore this facility.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You've got internal sensors working.
I've got internal sensors mostly working.
I know, but it could be flying around, mapping it, recording it.
You've got all the data. You've now accessed the internal
And I
sensors.
think that
There's enough power that it's scanned the interior of the asteroid for you.
until I can come up with some sort of translation matrices, which I've got an idea of, but I don't know. I think the vast majority of this section, though, is designed to be physically operated. So, you two don't feel you need to stand against walls. I'm pretty certain, like the internal sensors there, if we bring up another hollow type display, I'm pretty certain you can maneuver it from there. Okay.
Maneuver what, sorry?
Try and move the hollow image. I think it'll probably move.
You can zoom in, do all kinds of stuff with it. And as you're doing it, the sensors themselves are redirecting and focusing on different things.
Yeah, I think they were trying for a naturalistic sort of...
As you zoom in on one area, which seems to be a large series of sort of bifurcated chambers rowed up, a data point comes up over the top of it saying, nanoforge capacity reduced, compromised.
Right, I shall read that out. So, currently...
So it's right
3%.
Or it's damaged?
3%.
It's a 0 of 3%.
It's damaged, but that could be hundreds of thousands of years of just wear and tear on the elements. We're probably outside the half-life of some of the things.
Are there any of these nano things left?
You can't find any trace of them on board the asteroid at the moment.
There's no other evidence of them being there.
Dang.
But it's alright. I think
Even if we could get one, that would be the scientific applications of that could
I
be
have
replicated.
I have a vague plan. Give me 2 minutes.
And reproduce themselves.
Please.
They didn't seem to. But you would think, why wouldn't that be possible?
Yeah.
But arguably, if the technology tried to kill, civilizations, maybe they went, let's stop them self-replicating automatically. Potentially. Sorry.
it might be worth getting, whilst the shuttle is attached to the centre of the lab ship, getting it to try and land the lab ship. Because if it lets go of the lab ship, then essentially we can
at least
control,
try and.
well, we control. All we do is turn the power onto the shuttle, and we can.
I think these things must be bright enough to have a
otherwise.
put down and reset.
Probably just tear the stanchion off.
Yeah, I was going to say, our ship might give it a go, but a shuttle, not a chance.
Well, it's not a shuttle.
Well, as soon as I find that, but I have an idea that maybe may make this process a little bit faster.
Okay.
So,
We shall
we're in a
leave that.
communication centre.
Booting.
One sec,
Yeah.
one sec.
We're in a communication centre.
Yep.
The Union were a species that were reasonably itinerant, as far as I'm aware.
Mhm.
The potential to come across people who didn't speak the same language as them must have been a thing.
Yep.
Their computing power is much better than mine.
Yep.
Can I find anything wherein I could give it our linguistics data and see if it can make a go at it?
Make a roll.
Because I think it's probably better if
I will hand my translation program over to help.
Well, you'll have, I've got some on my computer. You'll have translated stuff as well, since you're.
What level is your translator program? What is it?
Tech level
3
10.
and 4, but it rolled into the rest of the dice.
Yeah.
Computing
Mhm.
or history? Science history.
Computing, and this would be intellect, because you're making stuff up.
11.
Okay, right. So you download a wad of information from your personal database with like your text messages, your calls, your all these kind of things. Anything that's got your language or Panglish
I'm going to go with Panglish. I read
into the system.
My own personal stuff probably read.
And translate.
And you get like a processing.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe I can. Let's say they must have allowed for this as a possibility.
I'm not showing mine. I don't want it to know Cherry.
No, it doesn't need to know. I mean, if it gets something up Panglish, I'll give it.
Good, my translator will have Cherry on.
That was good.
And if I'm happy to give it read. I'll see if it can work out why I'm different from you. But actually, I'm sure it must have.
Well, let's try it with one and see how it works.
Internal biological scans. I wonder if it already tried to work out.
I know it must know
Yes,
what
it
we
calls
are,
us inferior
because it did
units.
call us
It
inferior.
called us inferior, like
Lesser
this
life
life
forms.
forms. You're quite right, so it probably knows we're inferior. Or not
I am
union, but they
just
were a little.
wondering
Yes.
if the fact that it has repaired one of the airlocks, and if there is any electrical components, as in a computer system in the airlock, and it has repaired that, whether or not we can communicate or
Well,
take information from that.
Yeah, it must
Because
have had some form of interface to know what it was supposed to look like.
So if we
Might simply scan
plug
it
in,
previous to it destroying it.
if we plug into that interface, then we might actually have some kind of communication link with.
Yeah,
So you're going to try and remove some of the systems from the airlock to take them back and test them, see if there's any.
Just wonder if we try
Right,
and plug
oddities.
Yeah,
But
or
then,
just try and.
do we know what
Well-
it is?
Well, we can try and plug into it.
do you want me to
See
try
what-
this gently putting down while you're still in there,
Bad idea.
Brandon, or is that terrible?
No.
We've been told bad ideas.
Okay.
Please don't.
No, I'll listen to Jackson on this one.
Well, I'm just wondering if we just plug into it.
Yeah.
And
So it's like, you mean like the keypad on the
yeah, just
airlock?
download the data, download, see
Of
what there is, what information there is from the keypad. Because
Okay.
It's an airlock, but not.
if the
It was
nanotech has
compiled by
actually-
the
if the nanotech has
nanotech.
created that keypad,
Yeah, it could be a load of gibberish.
well, it could be a different language, or
Yeah.
it could be.
It might be useful.
Sure.
That's what, yeah. Has it made a union keypad?
Okay.
That's it. Has it
Exactly.
made a union keypad, or has it made
What
a?
level's your computer?
It was the expensivest one we could get.
12.
Yes.
the way you do it?
Because
Make a
my
roll.
computer is my second highest skill. So.
Cool. Shan, if you want to help.
Just checking you were literally using the best stuff we had available. Mine,
That's pretty good.
That's
That's okay.
Better than I was
So
expecting.
you got an 8. So add your
So bonus for
electronics and your intellect.
there might be,
Jackson,
but I'm not
so
sure.
it's 3.
Could be situations.
So you're at 11.
Probably not.
Right, so you're helping. So you give a +1 to
So 10.
you're on
So
10 to okay.
Guys, there's also a simple way.
Yeah, one
So
point
that's
plus.
11.
Are the buttons enormous?
It looks like a standard.
Oh, because if the buttons are enormous, it's
It looks like
definitely
it's been
union.
created as a standard.
Yes.
What it probably would
Mhm.
be.
Yeah.
But when you access some of the subroutines on the very simple system inside this keypad,
Yeah.
you see that the data that's been put in there has been compiled in a strange way by whatever's done it.
Okay.
And this may, to with long sort of study, give you an idea of how the nanites transmitted that data and how it's compiled in the system.
Is it better?
Yep, you're not sure. It's kind of, you just kind of plugged in with a little hand thing and you're going, is there anything different? Yeah, there's something different.
Yeah.
Okay. So the file structure almost is.
Yeah, the way it's been put together, the data, the information inside it.
It's programmed in C++.
Plus. Yeah.
I'm going to do my Santa Claus with my big
Yeah, well, swipe bags.
Sorts of drones.
No, so
What's your strength? No, you're not. Yours is 4.
Where's the grab on the trolley? Actually, I'm just going to stand there and go, look, Jack, just put me there.
Yes, like Barrow.
So you're going to manoeuvre them.
That's
Yeah.
turn them on by themselves.
Yeah.
Swag trolley.
You want to turn it on and let it move to the shuttle.
Four of them. Yeah.
Yeah, let's try one.
Because they have like
grab
wheels. Yeah, not even necessarily grab things. Maybe just wheels.
Damn it.
The simplest thing
Yeah.
is often the best.
Well, wheels work when the power's
Wheels
off.
If it uses the grab thing near you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get the 4 drones across to. They maneuver themselves across to the shuttle.
Yeah.
And you have to tell them not to go to their launch bay, but they go to your shuttle instead. And you've gathered up the other stuff.
Was in the bit that was destroyed.
Yes.
That's
Yes. It's in the next
fine. And is
section
there any
round.
data in the systems on what the launch bay looked like?
They've pulled all the data.
All of it. Cool.
But you assume it's a standard lab ship.
Okay.
So
Right. So you guys head back in the shuttle. Cool.
should we start having a look around the area?
It certainly sounds like a plan. I'm hoping that the scientists are heading in my general direction.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, they're coming across. They're just taking them a while. In their excitement, some of them forgot to do their seals up properly and get their suits on
good.
correctly.
People
So
that haven't slept for 4 days and are currently really excited are coming to help.
Yeah.
Right.
so
I'll
they
stay
eventually
in-
start filing into the room.
I'll
That's
stay
two
in-
people with us.
and the 2 we've got.
This is
And-
the
and
Bryce Corp mining vessel Rockmaster. We've received a number of interesting communications from ships in the system. We're sending you a data file with our claim to the area and our contract with the Career Council to clear up any of these issues. And we'll hopefully see some of you soon on Stormhaven Station. Rockmaster out.
Okay, so they basically said they're going to the station.
That's the thing that.
No, they're still thrusting
I was going to
towards
say,
the...
the vector hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Does the Vector have an ETA from getting here?
Yeah, you think it's similar to it. It's like 60 odd hours or something.
No, they're like 67 hours.
Well, it's in a strange time unit.
You know the defense system. No, that's good because we know how
It's
long
the
it will take.
orbital period of an electron.
However, we know how
That's
long
the base
No,
unit.
that's fine.
It's
given
a
us
decimal.
It's
of-
given us a number. We can then use that with our times to calculate
We can-
approximately their time units.
That's cool.
However,
As you watch, it actually turns into hours.
It's doing it, see?
However, can we use it? Although we can't fire the missiles, when they were targeting, became very apparent that something was happening to the ships. Right? They knew that they were being fired at.
Well, something was racing at them suddenly, and the lab ship didn't know because they were too close.
Okay, but there wasn't like
The other ship knew.
like a locking
Either way,
zone or anything.
It's 67
You don't know.
hours.
You don't know.
I can do a lot of damage in 67 hours.
Okay,
As I'm sure you know, with most missiles, you
can
can
you
try to
use the defense system? Obviously, we can't turn the defences on themselves, but can we lock onto their ship to see if it basically makes it go? Then go, whoa, something is going on.
What were you saying, Stalwart?
with most missiles, you normally try to, before they impact, try to hack into them and stop them firing.
Yeah.
It's one of the roles I was trained for, but you can obviously do that with these, because I don't imagine you could sense them before they hit you, because they were faster than light. How would you tell they were coming?
Or can you tell the system to send a warning message to them?
I
So
might
it's an
be-
automated basing saying, stop lesser life forms or you will be terminated or something.
Well, it might well do that. I don't know. Having not been on either of the ships.
Considering
Blew up.
where they're going and who they are, you think that might not deter them. That might get them excited.
Can you tell me when we land?
Also,
Sure.
I think
It's only going to take a couple of minutes.
as I have
Scientists
my
are coming in the
wonderful-
room and sort of moving around and
So
sort of
you-
getting equipment
Have I
out
got
and stuff.
direct as well?
Derek's
At least
there.
I've Derek.
Yeah.
Why don't I brief these individuals and you two go and start having a
Do you
look
want to
around?
dock with the ship or land on the thing and come through
Unless
to
either of
these
you
guys?
have a
We will
burning
land,
need to do anything up
because
there.
essentially
I
what
believe
we're
they've
going
got
to take,
equipment.
we're going to wait till
Yeah,
they
you two
they've
go
gone.
and start
They
with
have
a
a
run
role.
interesting
Then we'll basically
places.
move the stuff into our ship,
Okay.
and then I'm going to take
Oh,
some
the
of our
scientists have gone.
I'm
Yeah.
going to take some of our food supplies, put it on their ship, because they're essentially that's what we said we do.
Yep.
So that they can.
Leave that for now. We're actually Stuart and I are going to go and have a look around the base.
Yeah, that's cool.
Leave the food where it is. They can take it back when they go. Do you want to join us?
I want to have a check out of this contract that they just sent through.
Sure. It's a really big file.
That's fine.
Yeah, I can't get it. I'll
Really. Basically, we need that.
Marvellous. You can go and explore.
That's fine.
Please
Another
guys.
ship
we can deal with
jumps into the system.
Oh, hang on. We have
Was it Bryce
further
Hoffman?
company.
It's a small triangular shaped ship, and it seems to immediately start thrusting further out in the system, away from to a small dwarf planet on the edge of the
Is
system.
anything known for being triangular? Is there any area?
Courier ships, scout ships.
Oh, it could just be a...
Which direction does it come from? Can we tell?
It's come from generally this direction.
Okay. I think we should conquer and get them to get defense ships in the area. We've just hit the. I think we may have just hit the scientific jackpot. And we need to stop people interfering with
There's
this.
no coming, then we'd have to go.
You say that.
Okay, I'll put that at the top of the to-do list. Go explore, find the marvellous things. I'll put long distance
I'm pretty sure if we can send a direct message to Korea, and it should get there in given the Mel Dak Tar was about 20 seconds, maybe 10.
Okay, alright, I'll try. The trouble
You
is going
think
to
that
be...
the other end probably had some gear that enabled that?
Exactly, that's the trouble. I don't know what
Okay.
the receptors are like. Like
You guys have
I'll
landed,
try.
and the drones are coming out. The food's coming on.
But,
and you're maneuvering
you two and
things
Jackson
around.
go for it.
You're heading in to see Magnus.
Yeah.
Okay, try and get the defences ready just in case we do need to stop that Bryce Corp ship.
Just emphasise with the scientists, because they're quite tired and they seem quite enthusiastic, the danger of the situation.
I'm planning on a big huddle before
And
we
that
start.
it's not going anywhere, so a bit of sleep's fine.
We shall have a big huddle as soon as they've sort of played with the hologram a few times.
Oh yeah,
We'll
that
have some bit of sleeping. But-
Brandon, while you're on the ship, looking at stuff, if you can get any more...
one of them seems to have found a way to
ready.
plot kind
Yeah.
of trajectories
Well, you
Okay.
can just
Almost
drive
like-
I found a yellow thing. Okay.
round
the
planets.
I'm appointing Derek my official second in charge.
yeah, because that's got a fusion core.
Plus we'll
I mean,
summon no use.
That has a fusion core. A fusion core. That's not a power pack. That's a fusion core. I mean,
What does?
the
TV.
TV. You could literally just plug this. You could basically just drive the TV up on a really big cable and go punk, and watch all the lights go.
That's not a bad
Perhaps.
plan, actually.
And the
Well,
power capacity of here is vast.
As I said, but I think
Yes,
we're supposed to
that's why I did. That's why I only went.
No, not like a station, but it could power your room.
It could pass some lights, almost definitely, yes. That
No, it's a fusion core. I mean, it's like a
That is
proper.
nuclear reactor.
You know, this thing will probably,
Could power a nanoforge.
maybe. Or
It wouldn't be able to power the whole. Wouldn't be able to power the whole
able to
asteroid.
open up a
No,
bay
I think
door.
that the
I like the idea of powering
the core that they have on the
Brandon, bring the TV. You can look at your thing on the
well,
way.
there must have been
a
speculation.
couple of
about
orders of
using
magnitude
Have the keys.
more powerful, if not three orders of magnitude.
Listen, can we get the, is the
No,
asteroid
what
big
else?
enough? We could get the TV to the nano core.
No, there's the
It's too
you've
full.
seen
They
the
didn't build
thing.
it.
It's not really built
It's
for
never
people
meant
to walk
to be
around.
accessible by people. The trouble is, we need to power
To
the
get it to the exterior of the asteroid,
Yeah.
to near the weapons bay, because there's an auxiliary port there where you could access that
I
system.
shall tell them that, then they can all go and do that.
Can I tell you that the
I said that a bit closer to the
Guinness
microphone,
is
sorry.
big enough to hold a TEV, as it's designed to be able to hold a vehicle
Yes.
that can then go and explore.
I say, to usefully power everything here, we need something about 3 magnitudes larger than the Newcomer TEV, unfortunately. But we could hopefully power bits of it selectively. But you're quite right. We need like people with multiple nukes and things.
That might be doable. We could con the station, see if they can bring stuff over.
Yeah, and so I assume they've already dispatched someone to Korea, but if they haven't, they really need to. Like, yes.
Well, no one's left the system.
I haven't got any ships.
They were too busy rescuing people.
Get in touch
exploring
with
in.
that Korea ship and see if it's Korea. It might
That's just.
be. I mean, if it's gone by High Mountain, that's
Can you
not-
bring off the comms map?
Look, there.
The system.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm this is Commander Magnus Alexanderson. Please identify yourself.
So you're not
Okay.
moving for 5 minutes.
No,
Send a message.
I'll
You
try
can-
and patch it through to
Yeah, you
something,
can,
I'm sure
yeah.
I can.
Autocons is under career restrictions, isn't it?
No.
No.
Only Korea and
Kusk.
Kuskar.
Yeah.
The Autocon's not firmly under Combine, presumably.
No, Octacon's not combat.
And Ilkura is basically a petrol station. Sorry, gas station.
So what I will do whilst they're exploring
Yeah.
is I will go through the contract that
Okay.
they've sent through.
Mhm.
Because I basically studied as a broker
Okay.
and because I was fleeced by Brycecore in my brokering deal,
Yep.
I have experience of Brycecore contracts,
Mhm.
And being
experience of
fleeced by them.
experience of the bits that didn't work and why I got done over.
Okay.
And the idea is to be able to put the case forward that actually it's a scientific discovery or an architecture, whatever it is.
Archaeological site
Ta-da!
rather than a mining
So that
opportunity.
and actually that the mining contract is obsolete due to the fact that it is superseded by.
Sure.
And I shall spend how long have we got? 63 hours.
Yeah.
I shall spend a good amount of time, and I shall
Sitting there.
send a few of my communications. I shall put them up on some of the scientist guys can see what I'm doing,
Okay.
so that other people can perhaps
Help you.
say, yeah, what about this? Or,
This information would
yeah,
go in there. Sub chapter 12, section
And
4,
I'll do it
paragraph 2.
I'll do a few hours, and then I'll
Okay.
have a break and do other things.
Okay. A couple of admin roles from you at some point then, or broker roles.
Well, there'd be broker
Well,
roles.
The broker's more about.
Yeah, but you would have done more
Trading.
interesting stuff.
Well, yeah,
You wanna lay it out in a-
because that's where my skill is
Okay.
based. As in the contracts for brokering, that is where I would approach it from, as
Okay.
opposed to.
Sure.
I mean, you can make it.
No. That's more about filing it correctly and all that
Yeah,
kind of
Or
thing.
diplomacy to make it look proper.
But advocate would probably
Well,
be more for a
once
legal
I've got my
Advocate.
basic,
And
once
also
I've got my
advocate?
basic concept, once I've got my basic
yeah.
concept and the reasoning and stuff, then we can look at.
You should talk to his daughter.
Well, I can do my bit.
Okay.
Admin the paper.
Make a broker role.
Advocates
Yeah.
probably
He's got to think about the case for it, and then the advocate role is to
present it.
put the flourish on it, to make it hard to argue
The
against.
loophole right there.
Oh, I was so looking at a 3 then.
You
But it's
rolled a
not.
9,
I rolled a 9.
yeah,
Plus
plus intellect plus broker.
So
Yeah.
I don't have any bonus for intellect, but I don't have any minus, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I have 0 in broker, but I don't have a minus, so that's a good thing.
Okay, cool. So you got 9.
So I got 9.
So you succeeded. So you think you can make a case?
Yeah.
That this takes you a while because you got to
No,
read
I'm
through the
happy
thing
to.
first.
Yeah.
But you think you could. The mining rights don't 100% cover the discovery of something of this value, and you think it's like that so that they could take advantage of that themselves.
Yeah.
But maybe it's something that might backfire on them.
Yeah. And the fact that we are here on this site means that they have to wait for authorization to come back.
before they can carry on doing their mining operation.
Yeah.
So they can mine other asteroids.
But they basically have to not come within near hours for 2 weeks until they've sent someone to get the communicated information and then come with a bit of paper that says, no, I can't.
Unless you had kind of instantaneous communication between star systems,
Doubt they've got that.
Not yet.
I wrote 9. I'm so happy.
You rolled really well. Considering you had no bonuses, you needed to roll more than an 8, so you did well. Cool. Okay. At some point, if you want to make an advocate roll to turn that into something legalese, you know,
you get some jargon. I think this might work out now.
Cool. Okay. So Magnus and Jackson, where were you going?
Well, I'm
And
waiting to
still
see if we get a reply first.
Aren't you all there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're taking him as well.
You don't get a reply from the unidentified ship.
Balls.
Have you brought it up on your hologram?
Yes, the resolution gets really bad as you zoom in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's really pixelated triangle.
Yeah, really pixelated triangle. You can't like see in the windows or anything.
Still a little guy in your
Yeah.
Who's good?
So, what are the rest of you doing while Brandon figures out how to get rid of Bryce Corp?
Yeah, and we should lodge that at the starship, at the space station, because then it's lodged with the local facility.
Yeah, once you've prepped it, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
send it.
Yeah, that mining doesn't cover archaeological finds.
Yes. Okay. Magnus and Jackson, what are you doing?
Alright, well, I guess let's go have a look around. Yeah, let's go check out that nanite facility. Can we take some recording stuff with us?
Well, again, if I go with you, then I'm covered in
Alright, we'll bring them. Have you got
He is a camera.
Have we got any sensor gear?
Yes, I did.
He's got like little blobs and blisters and nodes and things attached to his shell and stuff.
I don't know.
You've actually got the sensors too and everything, haven't you? Yes, the rest of us are wingy.
The schematic for the asteroid shows you that there are some emergency repair tunnels that go down the side of the nanoforge. If in the strange situation that all the redundant robotic systems didn't work, then some poor Union sap might have to crawl in there and do something.
Big enough for a...
Oh, when I say
Good
crawl,
news.
I'm kind of
Good news.
embellishing. Yeah, it's a big bloody corridor down through the thing.
And
But
the
this is
borax are about 2 meters wide, so you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, kind of square.
Did you get any of the drones?
Yeah, we got 4.
How big are they?
They can fit down the tunnel.
We could bring a drone that will have much bigger sensors than we can.
Well, there aren't very detailed certain health sensors you can get, so we look for you, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the ones on the drones are pretty good.
But yes, the drones would be better.
Drones are good. And if can
Have
you
you got a drone?
Could be
pilot?
you operate?
I think it's under electronics, so it would be
It
great.
is.
Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
There is a drone.
safer, yeah.
There is a
There's zero.
drone pilot.
It's another speciality. It's remote off.
Oh, yeah, no, I've got... one of the scientists must have it.
There is a drone pilot skill.
Well, unless that one dies.
Alright, well, I'll ask the scientists. Do any of you control the drones?
What's his name? I forgot his name.
They're not having
Fumihiko says, yeah, I do a bit of drone piloting.
We're going to go
But what are you doing?
we're going to go and have a look at the nanoforge, and we thought bringing...
Can I come with you?
We kind of need you to control the drone. Can you do that on the move?
Well, yeah, I can do that from this. He holds up an iPad, basically.
Well, they're still surviving.
Yeah.
Thousands of years.
Well, there was only one drone that was still working that we could get access to. But we brought it back because I thought it would be really important for them to be able for the scientists to be able to have access to that facility.
Can you bring that?
Have you stashed the other 3 in low berths? Is that what you've done? Just to hide them.
These people are never coming back on my
Just in private quarters?
I keep thinking of the things out of Black Hole. You know, have you seen that film Black Hole?
Yeah.
The little
Yeah.
floating robots.
I think
Oh,
it was
yeah.
3 sensor drones. I shall amend.
Just put them in one of the hindless we're not using and lock the door. It'll be fine.
It's fine. No,
Well, all the science for the ship. I think.
Alright.
Go park behind the TV.
Alright, yeah, we will.
I'll
in the
just
team.
push,
Okay, so one of the sensor drones
push one out the
We'll
door.
bring Fumihiko.
comes out.
It'd be more safe to have it in front of us as well.
He comes with you. He's like, oh,
Might want to plug
this is
into that
amazing. I
and
can't
download
believe
that stuff.
what we found. I mean, we thought the find on the planet would be the thing, but this is their power containment, their communication systems, their weapon systems. Nanoforge is that what it's called?
It is.
I mean, that just sounds awesome.
At least that's what Glisser tells me.
Well, then I believe
Glisser's
it.
our expert.
I know.
Yeah, it's totally cross that. Isn't it? So it's a nano micro. It's a nano.
Is
Okay.
Jackson coming with us, or is it just us?
Yes.
Yeah, Jackson's coming with us.
Yep.
So it's the three of us plus
NPC.
Too many go.
Nico.
I'm
Are you
continuing
coming-
to
are you
work on the
coming with?
language, I think.
He's doing his
He's
broker
got-
thing. That's going to take him ages.
Electronics remote off.
While you're doing that, do you want to
Oh,
get some
sorry.
statements from some of the scientists, Brandon? While you're doing that, do you want to get some statements from some of the scientists to basically reinforce how bad Price Corp have been, so Korea don't go, sure, have an amended contract.
They can sell recording
I
stuff.
don't think necessarily that. I think we just have to contractually get them to be in a position where they
Yes, but we
can
do
go
want to kind of get them into a position where they can't do anything else. Because Korea might want to protect this.
You want to gather evidence against them
Yeah. Okay.
for all kinds of things.
Well, we've got a good
So they're gonna
from
record-
the surface of the planet below Kusk.
Yep.
But we've also got a bunch of scientists from Korea who say that Bryce Cole tried to dick them over. I'd say that's
I'll
probably worth
check
quite a lot.
that.
No, he's going with them
He's
onto
going
the.
with
Okay.
Well, I'm
You're
my
doing your
thing.
stuff. So, but they can. You can
Yeah.
just go.
We'll just tell them.
Record some messages.
You're breaking Captain, you're breaking
Yeah.
up. Okay,
Okay.
there must be
All right.
something wrong
So,
with
We'll
my
tell Glissa to get them to record statements.
Yes,
and
let's
things.
help. I'm mostly working on trying to get the language more sorted out, I think.
Okay.
But
Slowly, every now and then, small
It's coming.
glyphs and things are turning into words that you can read. Right, so you guys make your way down, and Chorix, make your way down the corridor.
Jokes can be guys too.
Yeah, that's true. You've got a kind of black shell, haven't you?
It's coming in a black suit right now, and then
Yeah, well, yeah.
some cloth
Yeah.
armor with my Star Wars Facts logo on it.
There you go. And all the sensor blisters and cameras kind of pointing off it.
Yeah,
It's almost kind of lit up as you're heading down this dark corridor with sort of faint red lighting, strip lighting
Sorry, I
down
can
the
see
sides.
no light.
tiny shit.
Ahead of you, the
Soft
sensor
Facts
drone.
dark.
Okay, cool. The sensor drone is sort of sliding down this corridor with a very faint sort of noise as it goes ahead of you. And Fumihiko is kind of holding his little pad and tapping on things. And it bumps into something at one point and it's like, sorry. It's okay, don't worry.
Clarify, I will be carrying my combat shotgun here.
Okay.
Because we don't know what's down there.
Because someone did mention internal security systems,
Yes.
that they were depleted.
I've got my boarding shield.
Oh, and yeah, actually, before we go, I will grab some gear.
Okay.
I haven't got my.
You've got your gear.
armor, weapons,
Sure.
that sort of thing.
Sure.
I haven't got all my stuff, but I've got the boarding shield.
Yeah. And then Jackson's there with his pencil. Hi, guys.
Oh, it's fine. You can hide behind the boarding sheet.
Yeah.
I've closed the
No,
coat up on the.
I've got a gun.
Cool.
I've just got a pistol.
Yeah. Sensible.
You never know.
Fumihiko's just
it's-
wearing a vac suit.
It's just a precaution.
I'm wearing my big combat vac suit and I close the helmet. I thought I wrote it.
Scary ass Chorix coming down the corridor. Okay, so
You name it, boarding shields.
along the sides of the corridor, as you head down, Fumihiko's showing you what the sensors are picking up on his panel. So he's kind of stopping every now and then and going, "Oh, look at this!" And at one point, it's not just some kind of panel or power conduit or something. There's actually some sort of large door, almost like an airlock style door, on the corridor wall that you know is where the nano forge butts up to. And you can see now on the sensors that there's a series of these large vault style doors all along the wall. And there's big blue signs on the doors in massive. Normally these Union words are quite big and chunky icons or glyphs. These are like huge, big blue ones on the door.
Can we relay them to Glissa to translate?
I presume I can see through one of his sensors.
Yeah, and
It's blue borax red, basically.
Yes, yeah, and it's saying that warning, utmost danger, full containment procedures to be used at all times.
I should relay that to them.
Lucky we're in back suits, I guess.
Yes, because they are almost definitely no, that's too much, that's fine.
Vac suits, may not fit.
Fumihiko kind of steps back up, just Shall I stay here and keep piloting it? Are
Why
you
don't
going
we send the drone in?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Oh, blue is
sure.
Borak red, so look out for blue.
I'm not sure what it
stick a rope on it. Someone's got to have 50 feet in their backpack.
But no, but the drone can start scanning the room in
Well, I was
much
gonna
more detail.
I assume it has cameras and things so it can tell us what's in there. And if it just turns into a pile of dust as soon as it enters it, that'll tell us.
Well, the door is closed.
Yeah.
So these vault doors are sealed.
Do the internal scanners say if anything's on in there?
There's very low power trace. As you saw, it was reading the interior and feeding back the fact that it was damaged. So there is some
Yeah.
small
There's no
power.
observation window.
No, this is just like
a
big ass, massive.
vehicle.
Would they use
Yeah.
sort of almost airlock type containment on any of these things? Would I know?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Void.
cycling.
What about
Yes.
where the power is?
More so, there's a cycle you go in and then it's
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So you go in and
It'll
then
be a dual cycle door, and there might be manual overrides, and they're not as common.
as you're looking at your screen, you see Nanoforge power subroutines translate into Panglish in front of your eyes.
I've got something. Well, Panglish, that's something. Marvellous.
You want to route power to the doors to open them up?
Do you want me to open the doors? Or at least let there be power so you can press the buttons?
Yeah, we'll go to drone.
I was going to be some sort of airlock.
It'll be a dual cycle door so you can put the drone in, close
we'll
it,
do that.
cycle
We'll
it.
send the drone in.
Okay. So
I'll power the doors.
you power the doors, and the drone, a small. starts the sequence with the door. Misses a couple of times. Doom, doom, doom. No. Send a signal, and the door. You hear a thunk as it kind of slides to the side, and you see the drone. I assume you're giving it quite a bit of distance down this corridor. It's kind of like a mile ahead of you. It's like 100 feet in front of you, like down this corridor. So you can see it down there, but you're safely away. And you see it sort of move into this chamber in the between these two doors that you can see. There's one on the interior, and the door closes behind it. And there's your scans coming into Fumihiko's computer wobble slightly as the door seals. Just some mild interference from some sort of magnetic containment field or something. And then the drone is waiting. Fumihiko goes, "Do you want me to get it to open the interior door?"
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Opens the interior door. And there's a large chamber on the interior, and there's very low power field. And as it sort of starts to scan the interior of the room, you see there's some sort of lattice on one end of the wall, where you know that it would probably start to construct these the nanites. It's a 0G environment inside, although there is atmosphere now, currently. Do you want the drone to move into the chamber? It's like a long chamber through a section of the asteroid where it creates these things.
Yeah, as long as there's no
Taking detailed scans, not touching anything.
Okay. Sure. Starts piloting it in. It goes into this room.
Because we don't want to ruin anything here, so we're literally being really cautious.
Mm-hmm. You can see now that there's been some sort of degradation of the interior of the chamber. And some of the doors linings further up this large chamber have been compromised. In some way, the sensors, now that you're in here, start to pick up these kind of weaknesses in the magnetic fields.
These magnetic fields, is that any technology that we could understand?
Yeah, that's just like, they're really strong, efficient magnetic fields, but you can produce that kind of thing. Maybe slightly clumsier, but yeah.
So this is the sort of thing we could potentially get it back in working order using our technology.
Yeah. But the lattice on the wall where the construction of these things happens, you can see that there's one at the far end as well.
Okay, so potentially we could get this up and running if we had time. Or Craig could get this up and running.
Yes, although making a large number of nanites seems like a risk to me. But
Obviously, taking things very cautiously.
yes,
Fumihiko sort of,
What have you found?
that's a bit weird.
What is?
The one of the sensor blisters seems to be malfunctioning on the drone.
Can it sense any nanites present?
I'm not used to checking for those. Hang on. Rolled an 11. There seems to be something on the skin of the drone that we didn't pick up when it went into the room. Seems to be, I don't know, something's the internal power systems have been compromised.
Glisser, the
Yes?
the nanites appear to be functional in that room. Is there any way you can tell them to not damage the drone?
One of the scientists is playing around with the big hologram of the Kusk system, and he's plotting like asteroid trajectories around planets to travel back in time or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of
As long as that does not affect the bit of the system I need to use, you can knock himself out of that.
Yeah.
Carry on. Excellent. Good plan. I'll try and find the system he's talking about. So I'd sort of got nanite something in English, and
Yeah.
there it goes.
so you kind of follow through onto that into some kind of file structure.
Yeah, okay, I've got something.
And you can see that 0 out of 3% wasn't quite right. It was 0.000001. Of 3%.
Rounding error. There's a tiny bit of power in there. Can I tell that it doesn't like the drone?
You can see that some sort of, it doesn't seem to make sense to you, fundamental reclamation is in process.
Okay, so it says fundamental reclamation is in process. which I
Does
don't
that
know
mean
what
that they're
means.
trying to replicate themselves using the materials on the drone?
I have absolutely no idea. Or they're trying to fundamentally break the drone down to its component atoms and starting again. I don't know. However, until we do, don't put anything you like in there.
His
Like
screen
rolling
goes
the
blank
drone.
on his computer. I think that drone's gone.
I think maybe people shouldn't go in there just yet.
That sounds like a good idea.
Well, you could watch the drone and see if it does this whole kind of.
Oh, we can't see it.
We can't see it through the
We'd have to go into the room.
Can I
That
see
sounds like a
anything on
very
the
bad
sensors?
idea.
There's no.
There's no-
You could on the internal sensors maybe see if it can.
Are there any cameras?
Well,
I
first
don't
you
know,
got
I've not seen any evidence of video.
No, it's in the drone.
At the moment, but there might be.
There might be,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
I've got it.
just-
I'll see if I can at least get a readout of what it thinks is going on in there.
Yeah, you can get a densitometer, metallurgical,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, reading of it, and kind of share it with the guys on Fumihiko's screen, and you can see that the drone is being taken apart at the atomic level.
Yeah, they're breaking they're blue.
Okay, has the number or the percentage of nanites increased?
It's gone up to 0.0000002.
By a very tiny amount.
So they're using its material to reproduce.
Potentially, yes. I presume when the forge was active, it produced something. Well, it's increased their power system. So I presume when the forge was active, it was providing them with raw material.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering if that
The forge
lattice
is now off.
was. So the lattice work that was in there, does it look like somewhere where you could potentially store materials?
It looks like some kind of energy matter manifold.
Right.
You should try stick a power supply in there. Just slide one through the door.
Well, there's one in the sensors, right? I'll get to it eventually.
Yep.
Yep, that's
Oh
good.
yeah.
It'll get there.
Is there an undo function? Could it just reform the drone afterwards?
Yeah, I'm not saying we will, but I'll have a look. I'll see if
There's
there's an
almost like a cascade moment where the number of nanites recreated gets to a stage that the drone suddenly is like consumed.
Yeah.
And there's a
Speeds.
brief moment where it looks like the power core on it might explode, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's a surge in the number of drones, nanites created in the forge. There's a brief moment where one of the lattices sort of powers up briefly, but then it's
Yeah, very sorry. I presume I cannot see an undo button.
no, and it's probably too late now.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, I don't think I can. No.
Okay, so what did the nanites go to?
One of the reclamation units inside the asteroid docking center maneuvers out towards the lab ship.
Ooh, we've got a moving reclamation unit. I think maybe the nanites have powered up enough.
And
So we got to about. I presume it was 0.0001 or something. It had gone up by
yes,
about 10.
yes.
That's what it started.
I was wondering because of the surge.
That power that went into it seemed to be converted into matter.
Very quick.
Okay.
So feeding it power effectively increases the number of these things.
And the trouble is, we're so far
So
off.
if the power systems were working,
They would.
recharge the chamber and probably generate
We are
all the
so
nanites you
far-
need.
Like a shooting you can do.
We're so far off the beaten path with this science. I mean, seriously, people write PhDs about union doors. Doors.
No, that's fine. I mean, we have learnt
The
stuff.
lab ship is being
Oh, we've done all
repaired
sorts of stuff, but
momentarily. There's a
we're-
brief surge as a cloud of nanites comes out and is focused through gravimetric fields.
Do you wanted to continue to repair this lab ship?
Well, currently
Because
it's a
if you
moderately
feel it-
harmless way for it to express itself, so I vote yes.
Okay.
If it
as long
catastrophically
as,
breaks,
as
it's
long
not
as we
breaking
can
anything we like.
scan the nanites as best we can.
Oh yeah, we've got all the sensor suites on our ship and the lab ship running on it
And
constantly.
what about this facility must have its own, surely?
And its internal sensors are running. We're gathering data off that. I just
Sort of. I mean, remember, you're running off sort of crappy power, so everything's
we've
at like...
got to be the lab ship doing it a toy to play
Can
with.
we
It
go-
isn't anything we urgently need.
Where is the power supply or power plant to this facility?
That was damaged, remember, and
That's
the containment was
catastrophically
failing,
damaged. And
so you had to
Yeah.
turn it off.
Yeah, if you go to, we can look to see if it's repairable by
That's what we
primitive
mean.
minds.
Yeah.
Or at least if the actual power supply is gone, if there's
Yes.
somewhere we can link
Mass,
some other
that
stuff.
is a fairly, on the internal kind of map, that's a fairly shielded structure within the center, some sort of spherical chamber that has exotic matter inside.
Is there a priority order of repair? There must be there must be some order of priority. Of what
the
is-
short answer
that's
is
a-
yes. The long answer
Well, it
is
seems to be
I'm not
prioritising repairing a ship.
The lab
That's an interesting thing. Could we tell the nanites that the priority is the station's power core?
I'll have a look. I'll see
Okay.
if there is a priority list.
Make a roll,
There's got to be a
computer
priority
roll.
list.
but you got to find it in an alien
I don't.
computer
I
system.
don't
No,
find it.
you, the collective you.
9 plus 11 plus internet
9 plus
education.
11.
9 plus 2 is 11. 13.
Do you want any
Plus-
scientist
But I was
help?
going to say, plus
Yes.
lots of excited scientists.
Yeah.
Lots of excited scientists.
Hopefully they won't be negative.
Everyone make a roll for a scientist.
It's an exotic particle, so particularly Okay, that he fell asleep.
That didn't help.
Oh,
It's okay.
What are they at?
Add 3 to it.
13. 9.
6, 7. God, yeah, 7.
7.
7.
Okay, so you get plus 2.
in which case 15.
15. Which is just higher than a formidable task.
Marvellous.
You find a subroutine that allows you to reset the reparation prioritization queue.
Right, I think I have it. I have a queue.
And there's a whole big list of stuff.
Everything's broken. That's currently what I'm aware of.
But you find the... What do you want to fix?
The power plant.
The power plant.
Because then it should be able to form more, and that's to repair the other things.
Can you get one of the repair bots to go and sacrifice itself to the greater good of nanites.
I'm not sure it works like that.
No,
'cause
no, no,
otherwise
no,
it's
we don't want to
it's
just feed it.
sensible enough. It probably
Derek says soon we shouldn't have to. If you turn that thing on,
Well, okay. Does it have a? It's too big. I can't do that. Or it's next to it.
there is some sort of effort value equation going on.
Yeah.
By
Let
the
me find
side
out what
of
it can do because there must have been. This is the Union. There will at the very least have been a secondary power core, if not a tertiary power system.
Yeah.
One of them might be smaller and more manageable. Then we can get that online and then try and get the big one online.
We should make the rock a viable unit of resource to use
I agree.
to repair itself.
Yeah.
I agree, but as I said, we are basically
That'd be hilarious.
shooting into
Do
the
you know
wind
what,
with
do you know
technology.
what we
to
need
get
to
us
program
all
it to Nick to power itself with? You see that ship coming in?
Yeah, that's it. That's what I said.
Can
Yeah.
it
Oh,
do
sorry.
The rock
It
ship,
can
yeah.
get to not like a fraction of a % of power output
from the core?
safely. So basically, it can fix the problem with the containment field.
Right, we can get a tiny little bit back from getting the containment field done. Should we start with that?
Yes, once we're away from
Can
the
it do an
area.
assessment of materials? In, like, so can it assess what you know, whether if it got the lab ship went.
Sorry,
how much?
before we
how
It's
much
not,
it
it's-
would give
it
it?
doesn't seem to work that way round.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
Before it
seem
fixes
to-
the core, shouldn't we fix the magnetic seals within this thing? Because the last thing we want is nanites getting everywhere, especially given what they did to the drone.
Have you damaged? Are there damaged magnetic seals down there? Or
Yes, the drone was picking up that there was damage to the magnetic
Okay.
seals around
Can you see any glyphs next to it? Tell me what they look like, and I'll see if I can find
it.
them.
Well, we can play back the
Section on the list.
footage.
Yeah, you play back the footage and you sort of your data feed comes through from Stalwart Facts.
I'll see if I can find that on the list.
It's still got a little SF.
Yeah. You just haven't taken it off the overlay.
Yeah.
You're just like,
I mean, it'll all take time, but
Yeah, right. I'll move that to
you find the magnetic seals
right.
in
Yes.
the list of the damage repairs. One of you see on the list that also the missile system backup power units are down.
Yeah. So the missile system's got no backup power. Currently, nothing's got any power. So you know.
But they seem to have their own backup power system.
All right. So they do have their own backup.
well, the missiles, but
Well, yeah.
but it's down.
These
And
people
everyone's
are fighting
friends.
a war.
Yeah, but we can
But
probably
I might
change
be able
that.
to find the phone list up here at least. I know roughly what that looks
Derek goes, I found that.
like. There is a phone list.
Good man, Derek.
He's got like a big list in the air in the hologram.
Yeah.
And he's like, everyone's red. That's really weird.
No, red is good. Red is good.
No, I know, but that's really weird. I keep wanting to slide them over to the blue column.
It would be really unfortunate if the rock was still.
Anyone who's not slept in the last 16 hours is allowed nowhere near Derek's list. Are we all clear?
Derek has slept.
Exactly. Derek and I have actually had some sleep in the last 2 days, so
Been
we're...
staring down the gun sights.
Also, we don't want to launch
It is
missiles
true.
because they'll probably internally explode.
Yeah, the other trouble is the doors are still broke. Missile launching happens after door repair.
Maybe.
Important order of business.
Yeah, fixing the power and the magnetics. Basically, we want to secure the nanite creation.
Secure
and
the
the power.
nanites, then try and put some
Are
power
there any
on.
like
Okay.
crates and things? Is there any like just random stuff lying around on the
don't-
loading areas?
No.
No.
As I said,
It's all
I think...
neat and tidy, pristine. There's nothing.
I think
It's an automated facility.
Yeah.
If it could digest itself for more power, I would have thought it would have done. I suspect there is some sort of fairly set subroutine that says it can't do that.
Mhm.
Or us.
Just take
Turn
line
that
if
off.
necessary.
Another thought. You know the outside doors?
Yes.
We could shut them. Then it wouldn't matter if the rock does turn up.
There is the other thing. We can also shut the door. I'll have the door.
No.
Oh, the Rock Master.
No.
The Rock Master.
Yeah, Rock Master.
It can't get in if the doors are shut.
Yeah.
We know home. Go home now.
But can you open them again?
I was going to say, I mean, I
Fire
like
the
you
frickin'
guys,
laser beam.
and we might be able to make it.
Fire the freaking laser beams!
I mean, I like you guys, and we might be able to create something in here to replicate food, but I don't think we necessarily
The magnetic
want to spend
seals
our
are
lives together.
fixed.
Magnetic seals are done. They've gone red.
Excellent. Then now start working on
You can
the
now produce enough to fix the containment fields in the primary power unit.
Yeah, so we can fix the containment on the power
That
unit
sounds like a good plan.
and then see if it will power up. So fingers crossed.
Or at least
everybody.
partial, even if we just turn it on to like 5% or something.
I was going to start with 1.
Good call.
There's a time
Half.
you see it's doing some calculations and routing things through
You
certain
can do
logic
hours,
gates.
you can.
And and you see that the system realizes if it fixed certain robotic systems, those systems could fix the
Other
power
systems.
core itself,
Right, okay, yeah. It's
rather than sending them an ice to the power core.
If it needs mass, we can probably provide it.
not telling
to be
me where
honest,
to
it would
put
be
in
worth
yet.
it would be worth sacrificing the science vessel to do it. I'm sure the scientists wouldn't care if they could get a lift.
No, we don't care.
They don't.
There we go.
But again, they have.
Turn it on! Turn it on!
Again,
Turn it on! Turn it on! Turn it on! Turn it on!
We're in an asteroid field that probably has, that it was mining. It could probably
Oh, I
send some
presume it was
devices to
mining. Yeah,
You'd assume that there was some mining.
Oh,
Yeah, the mining.
I think once he
They're
gets
mining
going-
units, aren't they?
Yeah, I think once he gets going, it's probably more than self-supporting.
Yeah.
It's probably that's what it's doing. It's harvesting resources. That's
It's
what
just it's
humans
not
do.
had anyone to control the repairs, so it's not kind of worked properly.
Yeah,
So it's gummed
and
up in
also this is
100,000
still
years
weird.
of functioning.
This is still a weird system, though. Because I mean, normally this is what you needed. They came to a place, they used the resources, and moved on. But they're a settlement on the planet, so maybe this doesn't work like a normal reclamation. I don't know. But we're worried about
Can I
that
just
who's still alive.
can I just ask? Aren't some races more resistant to radiation?
Fozolani.
Fazani, yeah.
We do have one of those.
In a low
The one in the
I'm
freezer.
sure that given the opportunity to not be arrested for crimes against career might actually.
Well, human
I think there's
resources
a difference
is yours,
between
and,
resistant and immune to.
and also human resources are definitely yours in the captain's area, and not mine.
Are you doing your research in the communication centre with all the scientists and people so you can see what's going on as you're doing it, or are you doing it on board the ship?
I would be doing it on board the ship.
Okay.
Not in the
Okay.
I would be obviously I would send these
Sure.
little messages to say, oh, what about this, or oh, I found this, I found
Also,
this
these
line
people are
in
noisy.
the contracts and things.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I'd be doing.
Okay.
As opposed to having communication from being distracted by Derek
Sure.
holographic.
Yeah.
Light splashing
Holographic
everywhere.
martial arts.
And occasionally I'm looking at drones thinking, is it the floor there? Yeah.
One of the scientists turns around and looks at you, Glisser, slightly confused.
What did you do?
I haven't done anything.
Okay.
I didn't do honestly, I didn't do
What
anything.
did you see?
I think someone from Mel Dak Tar is talking to us.
Stalwart, I might need to patch you through.
And you can hear, he kind of brings it up on the screen, and you can hear over the comms, "Oh, great voice from beyond. Please, this is your mere forged disciple, Arash, speaking to you. Please, quench the fires of the forge. The mist has taken our brethren. Please, I beseech you. Please." And there's just like prayers coming through some sort of... There is a mute button.
Stalwart, is that the one that tried to sacrifice me?
It's the same group. It's probably the same person.
Alright,
It'd be
let
really
me see if I
unfortunate
can
if they all got
find...
eaten.
That would seem to be a member of the Stellar Apprentices, the people who worship.
Yes, I remember the Stellar Apprentices in excruciating detail because they were going to sacrifice me.
In many ways, they have the best understanding and the best respect for Union technology. But on a ship, they can also
Okay, let me
fall into religious fallacies. Where
Okay, has anyone found the Mel Dak Tar console?
I'm trying not to press stuff.
Okay, alright, okay.
Derek's like doing something in the air. I think it's that one over there.
Thank you, Derek.
be reassured, however, that the Stellar Apprentice is probably the person to be happiest to be destroyed by Union technology.
That's true. Still, what was the
Can I tell the scientist to go get some kit?
Does that give us
Yeah,
any sort of
They're starting to sleep in shifts.
geographical
I
idea
want
as to
them
where
working.
bits might be on Mel Dak Tar? Do we think this console knows about the Cherry side?
Probably. Well, it probably realises that there's
An asteroid
Asteroid.
stuck.
There's vehicles or
Inhabiting
anything
it,
like
yeah.
that.
Right. I shall see if I can find anything related to Mel Dak Tar and
Just
turning
go
forces.
poke around.
Okay, you have a hunt around.
We're gonna go. Jackson and I are gonna go have a bit of a poke around
Mhm.
because there might be, although it's very tidy, there might still be vehicles or
It's not built for people.
Or warehouses or something.
Storage
So basically,
centres.
we want to go have a look, see what's here.
Okay, cool.
Because the maps are obviously showing rooms.
You have a look at the schematics, and you can see that there are various storage compartments on lower docking ledges. This one seems to be where people would come if they come to this asteroid.
Yeah.
The little else is sort of built for people or consoles and things. But one of the storage areas downstairs on the internal sensors, which are slightly malfunctioning, shows that there is something, some mass, some cargo, some containers, something being stored in the storage area.
Right.
And it's probably like an aircraft hangar sized building.
All right.
Okay.
Size
So would we be better off taking our ship down?
if you want to bring anything back straight away, but you could go down in the
Service.
yeah. There's like a service lift in the back.
Should we go down and have a look?
Yeah, and they can't have, such massive defences. Something interesting around.
When I look through the contracts and stuff, can I use Martin's personal thing?
Oh yeah.
And correlate if there's any communication between names that are listed in his versus anyone listed on the rock ship,
Okay.
or anyone's names listed on the contracts, and to see if there's any communication.
There's no direct link between named parties.
But can I have a look to see if there's anything on there about mining on his personal?
On his personal computer, a ship left the Kusk system for reporting purposes, back for a Bryce Corp station in Rienza.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm assuming zones can be sealed off by the Career Council for strategic or national interest or whatever you want to call it.
You can't really stop people jumping in.
No, I know, but certain zones can be restricted, right?
Yes, yeah, you can have buoys and send messages out.
Would anyone on the ship have that? Not the ship, sorry, the station have the kind of authority for that?
Slash.
Can we com slash?
You can. Yeah.
Alright, we will com slash using the super fast relay, so at least our end of things is really quick.
Okay, so what are you going to say to her?
We'll explain that we're using technology from the station to instantaneously communicate with her, and that this is not a mining thing. This is in the national interest, or whatever you want to call it, of Career, to not fall into anyone's hands other than the Career Councils.
Okay.
And to forbid entry to anyone else.
You get a message back
5 minutes later.
5 minutes, well, yeah, about that, stating, I'm going to send the Arrowhead to Korea.
Yeah, we need more ships here. Korea
That's
needs-
the only way we need help.
Yeah.
We need more ships. And I need to get a message back to them.
and need to install, I don't know, defensive platforms.
Or can we just message me?
But that
And we
means...
figured out how to do the thing.
No one who at the other end.
It's
can
on my
accept-
to-do list.
But that means they won't be here for a week.
That's fine.
2 weeks. So
maybe,
I don't know what these other ships are in the system. That's the problem. The Rockmaster's heading towards you.
hold off sending the Arrowhead back for now.
There's no two-way conversation.
Yeah.
She's feeding information. So I don't know. The Rockmaster's heading to you. I don't know what the other ship is. So I'm going to send the Arrowhead unless you think there's no way that you can provide cover for this, for us.
Well, that we as soon as
And that's the end. That's the end of the message.
yeah.
Well, if you can
We're
get the
gonna-
weapon
we're gonna
systems,
well, we're gonna
working,
send information
reproducing.
to the other ship to say that their contract is valid and they can't come close. And if they carry on coming close or say get lost, we're coming anyway, then we can essentially just blow them out the sky.
Can she grant us official authority from the Career Council to refuse access?
Refuse access to.
Anyone other than the Career?
Well, yeah, but that other ship has got a contract
They've
with
got
the
a
Career
contract.
Council.
Irrelevant if they're saying we don't think that's relevant to sod off.
Well, that's what we were trying to do with the whole.
No, I know, but
Yes, you can dispute the contract, and you can also try and get Slash to give you something that says, rescind all other live
rescind
contracts
all other-
sort of
Rescind
temporarily.
everything else.
They may not listen to any of it.
And effectively almost make the Aurora, at least temporarily, acting on behalf of the Korea Defence Force.
Okay, you send
Basically
that
giving
message
us their authority in the absence of the Arrowhead.
Does that mean I'm going to put my uniform back on and get my cap out, my beret?
And are they expecting them back as well? Because I know most of the ships they had here had gone back to Korea for transport information and other research samples, but surely they expect them to return at some point. So we may have reinforcements before 2 weeks.
Potentially. I mean, our ship's, armed, but it's not a warship.
But they could also put a skeleton
The
on
price
the radio instead of taking possession of the radio.
The radio was very badly damaged.
Mm.
It did get smashed by one of these missiles.
Oh, right, yeah.
However, we just
Okay.
need to
Why
defend
don't
this
they
place
just-
long enough to
why
get
don't
the
they
weapons
just-
working.
Why don't they send the radio over here?
I think you can move.
It's just in dock. It's in dry dock.
It's in dry dock because it's got a giant hole in it where it got accidentally hit by a large missile.
Luckily, its fusion power core was completely and instantaneously destroyed, rather than partially destroyed and exploded.
Oh, that's something.
So,
Okay, so you send that message back. 5 minutes later, you get a message back saying, "We are sending the Arrowhead. There will be ships returning shortly to our system. They're Korean ships and science vessels, so there will not be much military backup. We will get backup."
Then you
And they send you a document.
Okay, basically giving us temporary authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're now head of the Navy of Kusk. And then it ends.
So, Commander, remove that Admiral.
Oh dear.
Give me a bigger hat.
Can we change it from war hero to war bastard?
Just a flash of the selfie with me from a burial.
Okay, yeah.
At some point, I probably need some form of Korea citizenship and potentially some form of diplomatic immunity.
I'm pretty sure that can be arranged. I'm just throwing that out
because
there.
the list of people that should ever get their hands on this tech will not include my
You could be princess of Kusk.
If Ghoul got his hands.
on any of this.
Oh yeah.
No, never in a million
the kingdom would
years.
go
Glycer, I'm pretty
Stars.
sure I can get that arranged.
Yes, marvellous. I need some form of diplomatic immunity that says I never have to go back to Post-Hand.
I'm pretty sure they will happily provide that given what we're providing to them.
Marvellous.
I've wondered if Korea can really stand on its own with this, once this information would seem to be getting out.
It depends how much can get out about what exactly we have.
And how far working I can get it before anyone else does it.
Also, people might be a bit afraid of these giant angry weapons.
You think that, but then you meet people from the Combine and you think, no. there it
Well,
is.
the last time we met the Combine, we gave them a damn good thrashing.
That's true, you did. That's true, I remember. I never saw it on news.
Is there any way that we could use Martin's ID, i.e. his ability to send information, to secretly say that he's hiding out on a lab ship or he's hiding out somewhere, and to give the impression that we have more vessels at our disposal than we do? Can we rig
I
some
don't
kind
think
of
we've got
data?
his command codes or anything. I'm guessing that's what we'd need.
He's probably not stupid enough to have written them out. So.
However, can either our ships with its sensors, the science ship with its sensors, or the station with it scan the oncoming ship to see if it's armed, or if so, what with?
Rockmaster.
I think it's too far out still, I think. I did try that when it initially came to the system, but it's not really closer enough to make a difference.
It's only been like a couple of hours
Yeah.
on a 60-hour journey. When it's probably halfway there,
Yeah,
you'd probably be able to figure a few bits
Yeah,
out.
I'll
Power.
say
The station, it should fly near enough the station.
Alright,
I don't
well,
want to get that
it'll be
information.
interesting to see how quickly
Can't
we
read it from here.
start getting this place semi-operation.
Well,
Yeah.
the
I mean-
things are doing the things.
No, that's not a thing to rush. We want
A voice
definitely
cuts
tread
through
with
the
caution.
background, and Magnus, as you're talking over the comms to Glycer. "Please, oh great stellar artisan,
Guys,
Please.
I've got to go.
please, your
I thought you
your great hand reached out and destroyed the pirate vessels to save us.
Apparently, we still
But now, those of New Toronto have arrived in system and are attacking.
Oh,
We
excellent.
need your guidance. We need your help. Please turn the forge off
What's New Toronto?
Take not any more of our brethren, please. Focus your fire, your hate, your bile against these new interlopers.
What's
Can I make him go really quiet? Like,
Where's
super
New
quiet?
Toronto?
I was going to say, I've not heard of New Toronto.
Have any of us heard of New Toronto?
Vaguely, some old,
Somewhere over in
Not even on the map.
body off somewhere in the Eternal Reaches.
Oh, God, only knows.
They've never appeared at Mel Dak Tar
Installing
before,
them is a
No.
good idea.
Can I
Let's
find...
keep installing
Azar
as long as we can.
says to you, did someone just say New Toronto?
One of the stereo apprentices did.
Those motherfuckers are bad news. They're like super anti-non-human species people.
And so they're fine with humans.
Captain.
I'm looking for Mel Dak Tar's friend phone this time.
Okay. I don't think you've got access to
No.
that here.
Glisser, see if there's anything you can do.
Yes, I'm looking.
What are you looking for first?
Turn Forge off.
Hold on. Would...
Okay, send a message to Mel Dak Tar.
Hold on.
Forge.
Hang on.
Okay,
Before
you
you turn
send-
the Forge off,
Yeah.
the Forge might be making stuff to fight with, which, although bad, I'm assuming the New Toronto vessels that they're talking about, would that be what did they call them? The things that the Union were fighting?
Princeton.
Are they the same thing?
No, wait. No.
And the Princeton would be dead for 100,000
Okay.
years as well.
Oh, it's just what I thought.
It's
Well, hopefully not, unless they discovered an ancient-cated Princeton technology and decided to attack or move into Mel Dak Tar with it.
and
You
Mel
never
Dak
quite
Tar
know
is
what might
really held together with spit and shoestrings. It really is. I don't think the Forge going is a good idea. If they can actually receive
What
something,
I'm
let's see if I
hearing
can
is
turn
we
it
need
off.
more
Or at least down.
Okay. You find the right command to send to Mel Dak Tar, advising that because of the extreme,
Superstructure.
yeah,
Degradation.
that's the word.
right.
You advise that it shut down, and you think some sort of clever algorithms run somewhere deep in the bowels of Mel Dak Tar because you get an approved status. You're not sure whether it can do it.
No, but I've asked it to.
Yeah.
Can I... If the idiot stellar apprentices have somehow obviously found a terminal or something...
Yep.
Mel Dak Tar obviously has its own communication type grids.
Yeah, generally stuff that people have hacked together and put in there and looped around.
If I ask Stalwart, is there anyone there that might be sensible or helpful? And I could try and almost leapfrog over the apprentices and see if I could bounce a communication to them.
All of the groups there are quite aggressive in that they want to own the technology themselves.
Yeah.
So
is there
anyone you communicate with will simply try to use you to get
Right,
control
okay.
of their base. There's no group there
There's
that
nobody.
would be there.
There's nobody sane on the whole frickin'.
There is, but not that probably has an access to a communication grid that we can communicate with.
Just leave everything on. Let the Mel Dak Tar sort them out.
Well, most of them don't really.
I'm
quite
slightly
aggressive.
more worried about that task than fall itself to bits.
Yes, I was going to say.
Keep trying to activate.
While many of the groups there have aggressive motives and are quite mercenary about it, most of them do have their own good reasons as to why they want to own it. Whether religious or because they think it's strange for anyone else to have. No, most of them aren't necessarily what I call bad people. They just believe that everyone else can't be trusted with it, in general. So killing them all would seem an overreaction.
Oh, that was a jest.
A little bit. The Cherrick's humour compatibility doesn't quite work out.
Translation.
yeah. It's deadpan.
I'll keep trying, but if I manage to get into the Mel Dak Tar communication grid, I'll see if I
Okay,
can get any more information about what's going on.
so you spend some time doing that.
Yes,
You
I'm
guys are
playing
heading
with
down
that.
to thing. You finish your loophole. Are you going down to the storage
Am I going
area?
back or am I going to click this contract back?
Well, you can come with us because we've still got the scientists with us. We've got computers on us anyway, so
Yeah.
you can ping it down to
I
us,
can just ping it down. You can.
and then you can kind of go.
It might take me a moment to form this.
Oh yeah, well you can sit there and do that while we just poke around. And if we see something interesting, we can grab you.
Can using the console we got from the scientist that Neil was looking through.
Mhm.
Can I see whether there was any communications between the scientist and Martin? Because I know the scientist communicated with the radial.
Mm-hmm.
And can I see if there's any connection in that respect?
There was a message from the radial to the lab ship.
There was a message from the radial to the lab ship.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll contact the station to find out if they can isolate who sent the message. Because they'll have half the crew locked up.
Yeah, and half of them are dead.
Well, I got a 50-50.
You send the message off.
You know, I got a 50-50.
Yeah.
You know. The person that said it.
You might. They might have message logs that was on the
Yeah,
lab
so they
ship,
can pull the data banks, they can pull all the stuff from the radio.
Yeah.
They're checking through all these things.
Yeah.
They're gathering lots of evidence against them.
Yeah.
Right, so you guys head down to the storage bays.
Yeah.
And you find in this storage center a series of carbon cubes.
literally just cubes of carbon to clarify.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are they diamonds?
Solid?
They're not diamonds,
Oh.
no. Unfortunately not. Very dense, but not
As in
diamonds.
solid carbon.
Yeah. There seems to be some entry point at the other side on the docking ledge where perhaps Reclamation unit could come in and take things.
Okay, that's interesting.
Gotta wonder where it's carbon. I'm no scientist, but
Are they pink?
They are in
blue?
this one. There's other storage. Other
Okay,
storage
are there
space.
many of them there?
There's probably a few hundred. And then you can sense down the
We could
far
recreate-
end.
We could recreate carbon cubes. I'd imagine we could recreate.
Yeah, to some degree.
not this
No,
pure.
it might not be
Not
as
pure.
good as this.
Yeah,
But if we need more fuel material
it
for
would.
things,
Yeah,
we could do it.
but there's other types of materials and minerals. that
Okay,
you
so
can
they're basically
produce.
solid cubes of certain minerals.
Yeah. Further down the other end, there's loads of carbon stuff.
Is it in elemental order? Is it like
Yes.
mass?
Yes.
Cubes of
Okay.
hydrogen.
Well,
not alphabetized. No. There's a few out of place because you just can't put that next to that.
Yeah.
So other than
Actually, if you did it in order, then a lot of them would be
other
separate.
than the element cubes, is there anything else down
You find nothing else.
there? Okay,
It seems to be kind of like some kind of element storage center.
okay, well, I'm going to make a note of the elements that are present and in roughly what quantities in
Mhm.
case it's useful.
Sure.
Can't you just stick him in that room and turn them into nanites?
Well, no, from what we suspect, they're created using energy rather than material. So this, I'm not quite sure what it's used for. I'm sure.
Just use it to convert into other things.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you need
so-
to in a pinch.
So, are there any particularly unusual materials that we can see?
There's an element you can't do. No. No.
Or they're being mined or somehow extracted from something in the Kusk system that we don't really understand and they're taking elsewhere.
I've got a
Potentially.
grenade that I don't know what it does. That might
Please,
help.
no.
So they're all known elements.
No, it's a button.
Oh, is it a button?
Yeah.
So all known elements, all
Yeah. Not all known elements, but they are all known.
They are all of them are
Their
known elements.
Yes.
And nothing dangerous.
No.
Oh, some element.
There's a few, but they're in like containment.
Is there anything actually useful for?
Well, they're big, like cubes, so you could take them away and
Nice metal.
chip away at them.
We could, but it kind of defeats the point.
Yeah, there's a cube of platinum. There's a cube of gold.
A cube
there's
of
a cube.
platinum.
You know,
Cube
there's,
that might go
They're
more.
two- they're roughly they're roughly 2 meters on a edge. So
So,
2 meters.
Yeah.
A cube.
they're like big
Well,
cube.
A 2 meter cube of platinum would weigh.
Yes.
However, we do have a
Drop that
ship.
in your toe.
So a wooden floor.
Your stateroom's got this giant cube in the corner.
Yeah, you just sit against it.
I just think it's pretty.
Yeah, selfies with the cube.
Slightly reflective.
Yeah, slightly. Ah!
But the whole ship leans.
No, just use it as an ornament on the front of the ship. That's just how healthy we are. Ship another point of social status.
Wait till the rock gets there and just push it out. Watch them chase it.
Fire it at them.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I think that's useful to know that it's there. So I'm going to make a note of it and walk back.
Yeah, manifest.
Okay, yeah, you log some things, you write it all down, you've got relatively good resources there that even if you couldn't use nanites on them, you could sell off to people for large amounts of money.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the station can make use of them.
Yeah, precious metals always.
Yeah.
But, the fact that these things are there for use would indicate that this is either the production of its... We don't know if this is what the place has been mining to take off somewhere else, or if this is like a storage room for use for the facility.
Maybe both.
Yeah. Do we know whereabouts on this? Is there any record of where it mined? What area
That's
it
something Glissa might have to look into, but I think she's got bigger priorities right now.
Yeah.
However, good thing to know for the future.
What is Glitter doing?
Things are going about their business in terms of getting perhaps some power back on.
Yes. Some of the scientists are now looking at what the robots are doing to the strange containment housing of the strange power core.
That's good use.
And they're all very interested.
Can I make sure that we have some form of rotor involving sleeping? Because this is good.
Various people have reminded them to sleep now,
Marvellous.
so they are sleeping in shifts. They're finding it difficult.
But try.
Lying there, so excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Queen going
It's Christmas Eve. To stay up for 5 minutes and they're kind of falling asleep on consoles and things.
Big red button. That looks like a pillow.
What was that?
I would really live in hope if the technology is advanced to the point you can't tell someone practicing on everything. Button pushing.
You get full control of all the systems eventually as the translation matrix works its way into the system and kind of spreads throughout. And it suddenly, almost like all of the panels start to appear in Panglish. The formatting of how they all stack up looks slightly odd. But it's been a few hours now and it's kind of processed through.
So that was my main priority. Once I can take over, right, okay, in theory, everything that's talking to the main communication core should appear in sort of Panglish. Just be a bit patient with it if it doesn't make sense straight away. I should try and make sure everyone is doing useful things. If I get a couple of quiet minutes, what I'm going to try and do is find out whether what I can get back from any sensors or anything off Mel Dak Tar, because I'm still really worried about this Princeton signature detected.
Okay.
So I want to try and get something back from Mel Dak Tar.
Make a roll.
What I'm thinking is, we've been on this place for quite a while, we've not seen a flag.
Yeah, computers is fine. Yeah, because you're kind of interfacing at a distance.
11.
We need to.
Only 11.
Ambulance.
I got that.
So,
Just
you managed to access the Mel Dak Tar system, and in particular, the last few remaining parts of the old internal sensor system. And you see that a small Princeton signature has been detected, and that there is a human walking around Mel Dak Tar with a very powerful but very small physically signal embedded in his left arm.
Right. I shall probably alert Stoffel to this.
There's some sort of gravimetric signature to it.
Well, whereabouts is he? Can you get a picture of this human? I mean, what can you give me more than that?
He's near Dome 3, which recently,
It's been away a few months.
was you get a bit of news now and then.
Yeah.
That was the battlefront between the latest battlefront between the Stellar Apprentices and the Chorix colony. because the asteroid is kind of next to Dome 3, and the Stellar Apprentices don't live in the dome, they live beneath it in the kind of gutters of Mel Dak Tar, and they've been fighting in the dome.
I mean, I've never met those Jerry, but I'm biased against the Stellar Apprentices due to the whole
Again, the Aspirant Starcast Drift colony is, well, again, it's one of the more sensible technology. It doesn't tend to use it very often, but it's also one more aggressive because it really thinks no one else should have it. But they wouldn't have any humans in their forces.
So the odds are wrong. They wouldn't.
So if that front is still between the hive and the apprentices, the person who mustn't be an apprentice or an interloper.
Well, the Stellar Apprentices think anything that talks out of this is gold, so we might want to think about utilising that to our advantage.
You kind of, as you're talking about it, you look back to the screen in the corner and there's on mute a prostrate person sort of praying in front of some sort of control panel.
Stellar Apprentices read.
Although again, interpretation,
bits and bobs, and
interpretation is they're insane. But I think most humans as well.
No, they're a broad mixture of species. Yeah. Even some Chogrics.
Because no one's immune to insanity.
Slap yourself.
I'm a bit biased. They were going to sacrifice me. I'm a bit biased.
Again, the level of respect in technology is quite high.
I know, but
which is mainly the problem that tends to cause harm.
It's not an incident you forget.
So is this human walking amongst them got something very dangerous on him?
Yes.
If it's something implied from his own, yes.
Although, can you not tell these Stellar Apprentices to just off the guy? Seeing as they think you're God?
Well, if you told them, they might take quite aggressive action, because I suspect, although, again, there wasn't any Princeton technology that I knew of in the system, but I suspect they think it was an enemy God or something along those lines.
If I had to guess. It's Princeton tech. Yes, it's tiny, but it's Princeton tech. If he's attacked, he might use it. And I don't know what it could be. If it's, for instance, biological weapons, we could have just killed everyone on Mel Dak Tar.
Luckily, they're on Mel Dak Tar.
But I don't actually hate everyone on Mel Dak Tar enough that I'm just going to randomly get
But the chances of surely a weapon being that small in someone's arm are pretty slim.
On the sensor readout, you see that there is a massive gravimetric build-up around this human, reaching over 20,000 paranewtons within 3 milliseconds. And there are a series of explosions recorded, and then the internal sensors around that area die.
Right, well, he's already using it anyway.
Okay, well, yeah, go tell them to off him.
I'm going to tell them
He's just blown it up.
I'm predicting he's not going to do it by visuals.
And we will leave the episode there. So something strange is going on Mel Dak Tar. You guys, though, have just seemed to have got control of a Union asteroid facility. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We will be back soon. We'll figure out our schedule and put it on the Facebook page, Garblag Games. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully soon we should be bringing out our Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game, Flint and Steel. And we'll have a bit more Legend of the Five Rings going on. We just need to figure out our schedule and we'll let you know. So stay tuned. Like, comment and subscribe. And check out all our stuff on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Until next time, we'll see you out in the Eternal Reaches. Bye-bye.